Jaden Hunt with Jordan Ricky in the second row. Carrigan the lock. And the bench, 4 of their 6. Moser, Talfa, Kashevsky, Semu, Duffy and Shibasaki. For Melbourne, Fa'alongo at fullback, Tui Malatu, Brown and Leo on the wing. Wishart and Amini in the centres. Munster and Hughes in the halves. Uda Ikamanu in the front row with Josh King. Harry Grant's the hooker. Blore and Keeley in the second row. Liero the lock. And the bench is Tolau, McDonald, Hetherington, Clark, Hinchy and Seve. It's Brisbane versus Melbourne, but not like you've experienced before. Both out of finals contention as the first hit-up is taken by Uda Ikamanu for the Storm, playing in their purple tonight. He stepped off the mark as Harry Grant bounces away. Is this a Melbourne home game? The Storm are in their home purple and the Broncos are in their away white. Another thing that's thrown us on this evening. Liero gets to the 20. The purple are running to the left of your radio dial. They're attacking the Caxton Street end in this first half as King takes carry 3. He's played every game this year, along with his front row partner, Uda Ikamanu. He's tackled on the 30. Now left-hand side, Sean Blore's got it. The last time he'll be playing as an enemy player at this venue. He's coming to Brisbane next year. Now centre third. Fa'alongo started with the headgear on tonight. Sometimes he wears it all game, sometimes he takes it off. He's tackled here on halfway. Plays to Grant and give it to Hughes. Also with the purple headgear. He got taken heavily as he kicks downfield. I'll watch the ball, you watch the ref. And I can't hear a whistle, so it must be okay. Karapani's taken the catch and Hughes is up and okay. Welcome back to footy. Karapani tackled short of the 20. So here's the first carry for the Broncos. Mariner is stopped on a short side run with no great gain, still on the 20. Perham at dummy half gives it to the ex-Storm man Anderson, who was stopped midway goal line and halfway. The Warriors bound Grant Anderson, so his last home game as a Bronco here tonight. Good 3-man defensive wall in front of the run of Perham, who plays it on the 30. Now Haas, 6-time Paul Morgan medalist, heading to South Sydney, but he's a Bronco at the Cauldron tonight and he's tackled 12 metres from halfway out on the left edge. Last play of Brisbane's first set goes to the boot of Ben Hunt. Kicks downfield. It'll be caught left side by Leo for the Storm. 25 from his own line. Kick return goes blindside. He almost gets away from the tackle of Anderson before Moses Leo is stopped. And the Storm start this set 12 their own side of halfway.
Well, they're playing for pride, but you can just see the quality of the players on the field. This should still be a ripping contest where there'll be nothing between the teams.
As Blore runs infield from Melbourne, it almost sounds like a polite sort of first tee at the Open Championship hum rather than the Rugby League Cauldron of Thursday night. I think the crowd's trying to work out what's going on tonight as well, just to get into it. Uda Ikamanu tackled 43 metres from the Broncos line. Melbourne going into attack, no score early, as Grant out of dummy half decides to chip down the blind side. It's to the left corner for the Broncos. Perham tracks it, gets it, and he's tackled there by Oren Keeley, returning to this venue as an away player for the Storm, having played 6 games for the Dolphins earlier this year. Is it just me, Zayna, or does it feel weird in the venue at the start of this one?
I tell you what I do know, Q, the crowd are enraged. There's so much social media stuff about the Adam Reynolds tribute. They feel that it was botched, just like everything else this week, and I think they're a bit pensive by what they're going to see tonight. We've just got a possible crusher here with Josiah Karapani.
Yeah, is there a chance? I think it should be.
So it's a crusher tackle. Referee, by the way, tonight is Wyatt Raymond. Ash Klein's in the bunker, and that's just a penalty.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, Q and Zona. The crowd, especially for this level of contest, this time of the season, there should be 50,000 here and absolutely tearing the place apart. But they're just sitting there, it's almost like in the lounge room going, oh yeah, we don't really mind.
Yeah, it is a different field at the start of the game as Jordan Ricky is tackled 15 from halfway. 6 more here as Payne Haas rolls down the middle third. Amazing to think. Alan Langer won the best and fairest at the club 5 times. Haas has won it 6. He is the most titled club champion in Broncos history, and he's heading to Redfern. Carrigan takes the Broncos into attack, 42 metres out. Now to the left, Hunt with a short ball onto Willison. He's put down 35 metres out, and there was an ankle grapple there, a second grab, and 6 more for the Broncos. Billy Walters, all those years ago, a Storm player, out of dummy half, but tackled by Grant. Grant Grant then gets dragged off the tackle by Carrigan. Grant tackles Carrigan in a tangle which had nothing to do with the play of the ball, and the referee said, stop mucking around, let's play footy. And the ball's played. Forward goes Willison, taken 22 metres from the Storm line. Played to Walters, blindside given to Mam. Pass to the edge was suspect, but ref lets it go. Mariner gets tackled out there by Meaney and put down. Pass in field when Walters is loose, cleaned up by Hunt off the deck, pops it to Willison, but he's wrapped up immediately by 3 purple-clad defenders. And the Broncos are 15 out in centre field. Walters to the right, through Carrigan on to Haas. He runs into Udawikamanu, who holds him up, gets a bit of help, and Payne will play it on 5-7 from the Storm line. Walters to the right for Hunt. Grubber for the in-goal area is brilliantly stopped by Leo. There was a second grab. He must not have knocked it on. Referee said that's clean. Moses Leo going to his knees to stop that grubber. Brilliantly diffuses the last play for the Broncos. Storm with the ball.
Hat off to the left winger for the Storm. They come off the boot of Hunt at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Tough grab and well done around his ankles. Not only do that, but then he gets stay in the field to play. Well done, the winger.
No score. Melbourne with the ball on their 20. Played by Keeley. Now Udawikamanu runs down the middle third. Amazing among those stats here. Both Udawikamanu and King have played every game for Melbourne this year, so that's one thing. The two props have been durable. Hughes from his 30 kicks Melbourne downfield at the end of the set. Caught by Perham on the 20. Runs over the 30 before meeting the Melbourne defence 15 metres from halfway. Your thoughts welcome on 0467 920 222 as it's taken forward by Karapani for Brisbane. Stopped middle third, 12 from halfway. One to the right for Anderson, heading off to the Warriors. Only his 11th game of the year. He picked up a knee injury early, so he hasn't really been an impact as Brisbane would have hoped throughout the season. On halfway to the left, Mam gives a pass to the edge, puts Karapani over halfway, but he's dragged down from behind. Nice tackle by Meaney. Cuts him down, 30 metres out. Quick play the ball and shift it right in centre field. Through Mam to Ben Hunt. Dummying, now giving it to Walters. Dummies and straightens Billy, but he gets taken down by the tackle of Blore, and that's play 5 for Brisbane. Last here, 23 metres out. Blindside given to Ben Hunt. Bombs for the chase of Anderson and others, but it's taken by Fa'alongo in the in-goal area for Melbourne. It'll be out to the goal line dropout. Thanks to Jay from Dapto, who texts the crowd vibe. Feels like everyone's just decided that they had nothing better to do on a Thursday night, so they figured, I'll see what's happening at the footy. Yeah, it's a bit like that.
The Bronx have started this game, Q, in good form. What a good kick by Ben Hunt there. So they've actually won the opportunity here to really put the Storm under the pump here. Big set of 6, repeat set of 6.
Storm with the short drop out, about 20 on the fly, and brilliantly caught by Melbourne. Karapani was in that jumping contest, but he was out-leapt and out-caught by Nick Meaney, who secures possession for Melbourne off the dropout. Back to the middle third, King receives, pushed back a couple of metres. In fact, that was Keeley, he was pushed back. Plays it to Grant, picks up one-handed out of dummy half. Grant, though, without great room to scoop, tackled on his own 30. Played the ball to Fa'alongo. That was forward, but not picked up by the referee, Billy. King got to the 40. They're a bit lucky here, the Storm. Munster to the right through the hands. Hughes to Fa'alongo. Made his debut here, remember, in that reserves game, so to speak. Yes. Back in 2023, scored 2 tries that night. He's tackled here, Fa'alongo, 40 metres out. That was when these two teams were preparing for finals, so rested all of their senior players. Very different tonight. Bomb at the end of the set. Well, it's let bounce by everyone. Caught and picked up eventually off the ground by Karapani, and the Broncos have got it midway goal line and halfway. A text from the Charm Haven Shark says, hi guys, after that disrespectful display from the Broncos for the retiring players, just showed they are a basket cake. Cheers from the Charm Haven Shark. Yeah, Zano, it was very well pointed out as we were going through other things to see that they'd only 2/3 the way through the lap before they wanted to do an ad.
Oh, straight away, Q.
Yeah.
Straight away. They didn't even give them 10 seconds on the screen.
Carrigan.
Or highlights, or fireworks, or music. I couldn't believe it. Broncos have tried to tell me it's because the screen was down earlier, but I don't care. I've had enough.
Man passes to the left edge. received by Perham, who chips in behind the line, but brilliantly read by Whaolongo. Leaps and catches, diffuses the scenario. Perham follows up to tackle him. And the Purple have got it on their 30. We've played 8 minutes in NRL Thursday on ABC Sport, 0-0 between Brisbane and Melbourne at Lang Park. Tiger Tooley says it's games like kissing your sister. You know, that's the saying about a draw.
Yes.
And, you know, yeah, it's I don't know whether we're there as yet, but boy, it's just...
Eerie, Q. It's eerie.
Yeah, eerie's a word. It hasn't even reached a simmer as far as the atmosphere in this famous Rugby League Coliseum.
Up against two famous combatants.
Yeah, it's Hughes now to the left. Munster feeds it on to Blore, but Blore's put down 42 out. As soon as we see a try or something, it'll lift or there's a big hit, but they're taking a while tonight, the fans here. Hughes kicks at the end of the set. It's a bomb to the left wing, hoping for Leo. Can't get there before it's caught by Perham, but the tackle coming through from Leo was high as well. So that's a penalty going to Brisbane.
Very arm wrestler here at the moment, both sides. Not the polish. You can see why currently neither are in the top 8, but they've got firepower. They've got a little bit of structure. And when you're thinking about the players that are in the halves, there's plenty of rugby league IQ. Hayes Perham obviously got his shot now. Walsh is out. I like the player. He pulls the trigger a little bit sometimes and takes things out on his own, but he's definitely a first-grade standard player for mine.
Staggs takes the tap and tackled on the 30. That hardly made any ground, that kick for touch. Only about 10 metres. Broncos still well inside their own half as Hunt feeds it on to Mann, but Ezra's pushed back by the tackle of Hughes. And it'll be great to see and hear Jerome Hughes in action for New Zealand in the Rugby League World Cup later on this season. This venue, of course, to host the final in early November. That's all to come this year as Billy Walters dummies and breaks the line. He's over halfway. Decides to grab it for the wing for Mariner. Oh, the kick takes a left-hand turn and bounces over the touchline just as Mariner was about to gather it 2 metres from the corner post and 2 metres from the goal line.
Zano, you overcomplicated this. Hayes Perham was on the inside, wanting the ball. It didn't get the bounce, was atrocious for Mariner, but overcomplicated. Should have passed on the inside, would have been a try.
Yeah, he just didn't look over his shoulder, did he? Otherwise, Hayes was underneath the post, but unbelievable. Billy Walters, he's run more in the, what has he played now? He's now played
6 games.
6 games this year. He's run more than Corey Pakes did all season, and he's just been missed so much by this side when you talk about why they're in the position they are, Q.
And they score through 11 minutes. Meaney tackled on the 20 as Melbourne try and work their way upfield on what is a fine night for footy here. Uduika Manu right edge. Tackle 15 in from touch on the 30 for Melbourne. Plays the ball to Grant. Fed infield for the one-man run of Liero, and the Queensland representative taken 12 metres from halfway. Still inside Melbourne territory. Grant swings it left now for Munster. Runs at the line. Gives it left to Whaolongo. Draws and passes to the wing for Leo, who's over halfway. Up to the 30. Passes infield. Oh, went behind his 2 support runners. They'd overrun the line. And it's cleaned up by Jordan Ricky of Brisbane, who's tackled by Munster. That was a great run down the left from Leo, but the pass infield was either not good enough or those running in support just hadn't judged that properly, as now the Brisbane Broncos through Karapani has stopped on the 30.
Tony Staggs was the reason that try wasn't scored. Great set of wheels on him, was able to run down Leo, and his presence made him pass inside, and that's what decoupled the attack.
Carrigan up to halfway and taken down by Hughes. Steps just beyond halfway. Ref lets him step off the mark to play the ball. Walters hands it off to Ben Hunt, who kicks downfield at the end of the set. Again, Leo with the catch on the 20. Runs infield and beats one. Moses Leo beats a second before being taken by the third tackler, which is Walters. 8 from halfway. And a penalty here going to Melbourne for a bit of extras from the tackle from Billy Walters.
Nice shot, I think.
Yeah, just high as he went to sort of get him in the end.
The game's loosening up a little bit, Zano. Oh, yeah.
Just by the way, Zano, Craig from Forster on the text. Hi, Q and lads, I'm a Dragons fan, but that tribute to the retiring players was a disgrace from the Broncos. If they'd retired last year after the grand finals, the Broncos would have put on the greatest show on earth for them. Just pathetic. Liberty Craig, 0467 920 222.
Well, Moses Leo's putting on a good show at the moment, Q. I'm impressed with his development out of rugby sevens. He's looking very good to be part of this back line next year.
Struggled defensively early in the season, Zane, and has improved as the year's gone on. Keeley tackled 25 out off that penalty. Melbourne now on the attack. Next play given to a settler from King, who runs down the middle third. Stopped 20 metres from the Broncos line. Storm looking for the first score here. Given to Munster on the left. Back infield. He feeds it to Liero, who buffets away from Walters, only to be stopped by the duo of Haas and Carrigan 5 metres out. And the penalty's going to Melbourne here.
Another high shot.
High tackle against Carrigan.
Big opportunity now to test the Broncos' defence. As I said, it's been atrocious in 2026. The 14th ranked. Can they stop the Storm?
Tap and go from the Storm. Udawikamanu buffets off one before getting into the in-goal area. The ball comes free. My vision was impaired by the corner padding, the post padding. So I didn't see. The ref says no try. All I saw was the ball come free. We couldn't see through the post. But
Ikamano looks very confident. This will give his vision right here, Q.
Play leading up to this.
Does he get kicked out?
Ash Klein's in the bunker. Yeah, he slammed that down. He slammed that down to Ikamanu with his right hand.
Does he bounce it just there? He's got control. That's right.
He's got control and there's downward pressure.
Based on what I've seen the last 2 weeks, it's a try.
And the fingers remain on the ball and grounds it. We have a decision.
Stefano Udawikamanu will be awarded the try.
The old point bounces the ball up again, Bill.
Zeno, how poor was that defence just then? He went through the heart of the Broncos. I think he beat 4 players.
Now, everyone, I'm watching the referee, who usually be near the kicker by now, and now he gives a signal of, I don't know, he put his 2 hands as if he's indicating a street. So Wyatt Raymond's just been talking. Sorry, Zane, I'm just trying to explain what's happening here. Wyatt Raymond went to the Broncos in the in-goal area to ask them for their decision before he even came out to the kicker to tell him he could kick the conversion. So that's what's going to happen. The referee will speak to the opposing captain in the in-goal area and ask them whether they want to kick off or receive. And what are you saying, Zano? That the down the street says they're going to kick it off, does it?
Yeah. So what it means is the Storm are going to go back and they're going to receive the ball. So the Broncos haven't elected to receive it.
Okay, getting all these new signals. Meany from straight in front, kicks the conversion. Melbourne lead the game 6-0 after 25 minutes. With 25 minutes left in the first half, so 15 minutes played. So like, yeah, 2 arms parallel and pointing out in front of you. That means they're going to kick it off again.
So we're going to do the status quo.
Yes.
So I wonder what the other signal is then.
I don't know.
It's just back towards the Broncos.
Okay.
Oh, so he would point the other way.
So he goes immediately to the captain. There's no interference from coaches or other players running on the field, and then the referee indicates either that way or this way for which way the ball's going to be kicked.
So Ben Hunt does kick off. Brisbane electing to kick off after conceding the try, which, if you're just tuning in, this is a trial tonight. It has been talked about, and because this game has no ramifications on the finals, they're trialling it this evening.
Shouldn't you wait till after the goal is kicked just in case it has a ramification in your decision making?
Melbourne's lost the ball here. Sean Bloor has knocked it on. I think what they were wanting to do, and they're going to challenge Melbourne, what they wanted to do was ensure that it had nothing to do with the coaches.
That's a good point though, Bill. Because if it's tied and they miss the kick, then you might want it.
Yep.
That's a very good point.
Xavier Wilson does not move his foot. Sean Bloor puts his hand on the foot and loses possession of the ball. The challenge is unsuccessful.
So the Storm have burnt their challenge. So we're going to learn and sort of pick through bits and pieces of this throughout the evening, and it is a trial. And maybe our first note to NRL headquarters is maybe wait until after the conversion,
because that could affect the decision of the captain.
So let's talk about
How's the coach going to get to the captain anyway?
Yeah, if it's
He's going to be up the box with the
20 points to 18, or, the try's made it 20 all, and then they miss the kick from the sideline, and you think, and there's 2 minutes to go. Difference between kicking off at 20 all or wanting to receive down 22 to 20.
Correct.
Okay. Broncos have got the ball now in the attack. Stags tackled 25 out, fed one man infield to the left for Jordan Ricky, who's put on his back by 3 Melbourne defenders. Brisbane only 16 metres from the Storm line as Walters at dummy half passes to the left for Carrigan, gives it to the centering run of Willinson, taken down one-on-one by King. Only 10 metres out. Walters receives, passes right for Ben Hunt, steps off his right, but Blore was there to grab his ankles and make the tackle with a bit of help from Udueka Manu. Only 3 metres out the Broncos. Walters to the left for Carrigan. Charges towards the post. It can't get through 3 defenders. Last play now for Brisbane. Walters, pass it overrun the line. So Walters' second thought has to kick for the in-goal area. It's an okay kick. Wishart has to bat it dead. Goal line dropout coming up for the Storm.
Ricky got checked there. If he didn't, I think he might have been every chance to score. Not saying must do anything wrong, but that check probably cost the Broncos a try.
You'll like this. Simon from Adelaide texts, not much crowd noise, but someone needs to take the microphone off the guy yelling over the loudspeaker.
I'll tell you something, Q. I think they might be going short, but the Storm have already complained that there's loud music being played when they're going up for the high bombs, and they're very upset about it.
Well, that one went 20 on the fly. No one got a touch on it among 2 or 3 leapers. And Ezra Mams at ground level to win the ball for Brisbane. So the Broncos do get the ball back off the kick-off, the restart from the dropout. Jaden Hunt tackled. Broncos just to the left of the uprights and 10 metres out. Walters passes open right for Carrigan. You hear in the microphone of the ref, 6 more here on a 10-metre and offside infringement from the Storm. Haas has tackled 5 metres from the goal line. Storm lead 6-0. Broncos to the left. Ben Hunt to Mam. Mam to Mariner, who runs into Meany. Meany did a good job to stop him, and he was finished off by Hughes. 2 metres out. Back to the right for the Bronx. Mam onto Walters. Shows it and gives it to Ben Hunt. Second man to the right, Parham. Give it on to Staggs. Dummy and straighten for the corner, and he takes the tackle of Wishart to within a metre of the goal line. Enough for him to reach out and bang down the Steeden for the answering try.
I like the shape I've seen from the Broncos. Just under 21 minutes gone, and they are playing some pretty good football for a side that's sitting second last. That set of 6, they had a shot down the left. They tried to strip the Storm of numbers, but Meany came up with a try saver on Mariner. They've gone down to the right-hand side, and Hayes Parham shot out of a cannon. Love the early ball to Staggs. Just said, mate, yeah, you're big enough and strong enough. What can you do? And he's just gone through Wishart. Couldn't handle him. Great try by Staggs. Great answering shot by the Broncos.
Yeah, he's a contender for the captaincy next year. That is for sure. He's put his hand up. 9th try of the season for Tony Staggs. He's one of those ones that's very keen to play in the World Cup. He wants to try and hang on to that Australian jersey if he can. There's no doubt about it. It hasn't been his best season, and he's going to be under pressure from the likes of Bradman Best. And if Latrell Mitchell comes back, he might be, along with Tom Trbojevic, trying to take that spot off Katoni as well.
And I wasn't watching Wyatt Raymond there. I don't know who's going to get the next kick-off. It's sort of taking our interest. And Tony from Nimbin says we were wrong by saying that they make the call after the try. We know the rules, Tony. We're just saying that perhaps it needs to be looked at because the decision should be left to once the score is on the board to work out, okay, well, what's the best scenario for us? Is the best scenario if he kicks it or if he doesn't kick it? That's across the face and no goal from Parham. So Melbourne continue to lead the game by 6 games to 4. Yeah, thanks for your text, Tony. What we're talking about is we know the rule. The referee wants to have the decision immediately from the team that's conceded. But there may be a circumstance which is probably in the betterment of the use of the rule that the circumstance of the game isn't determined until after
the conversion.
And the Storm, so we haven't seen anyone want the ball back yet. Storm are going to kick off again here.
We might not see it, Hugh. I'm telling you now that both teams said, well, it might be a unique occurrence for them to do it.
So the Storm do kick off, leading by 6 points to 4. NRL Thursday on ABC Sport. Ben Hunt catches and gives to Haas, who runs just beyond the 10-metre line on the kick return. 19 minutes played. It's NRL Thursday on ABC Sport. Quentin Hale, Billy Moore and Zane Bojack with you at the Cauldron as Ben Tolte, that's Jordan Ricky up to the 20. Tolte was a scratching from the original squad of 22, so we won't see him suit up tonight. Walters out of dummy half, dummies and straightens and gets taken 12 metres from halfway, slightly left edge. Ball comes free, referee says loose carry. So a mistake from Billy Walters, and this will give the Storm a chance to attack from about 40 metres from the Broncos line.
Evidence would suggest that's been knocked or punched out because he certainly wouldn't have thrown it. Is that a loose carry? It's come off the knee of the Storm player. Is that a loose carry, Zano?
Well, I think that's ruck interference.
Yes.
Because he's come around the side, and if I was the Broncos, I would have challenged, but they didn't.
Because he certainly didn't throw it there. It's been knocked forward.
You know what? If Adam Reynolds was out there, Q, they would have challenged.
That's one thing they'll miss. He was one of the best. And even speaking about him then for the first time in past tense is a little bit
eerie,
weird.
Strange, yeah.
Harry Grant tackled 35 metres out. Storm lead 6-4. On the attack, Uta Wickamano gains 5 metres on a straightening run, which doesn't gain too much ground or momentum. Now Grant to the left, gives it to Hughes. Hughes onto Liero. Solid defensive line in front of Trent Liero. And he stands before eventually being ordered to play the ball. They've got to release him, and he stepped off the mark by 2 or 3 metres, so the ref's going to order him back. And now he does play the ball to Graham. Pass to right and centre field through the hands of Munster to Hughes to Faya Longall. Feeds the inside line of Meaney, who goes through flimsy defence of Mam and Haas. And Nick Meaney scores for Melbourne on a simple inside line and a hole which had all rights to be a bit tighter between Ezra and Payne. It did not close. And Meaney burst through the door to make it Storm 10, Broncos 4, kick to come.
Yeah, lovely play. Again, the shape. I like the shape of the Storm as well. For all money, they were going to try and strip the Broncos of numbers and go around the outside with the ball ending up in the wingers' hands. But at the right moment, Fa'alongo turns the ball back underneath to the centre, Nick Meaney, who just blew a hole through Ezra Mam and Payne Haas, and that's probably your problem. Payne Haas is 1-2 wide. He should have had a back rower outside of him who probably would have done a more effective job because the big guy obviously was just having to reach and was out of his laneway being that wide in defence. But great angle run by the Storm right centre.
Well, 10 missed tackles a couple of weeks ago against Parramatta for Ezra Mam, and of course we know that he went down to Canberra and he got the job done. But wowee, they've targeted him tonight, the Storm, and I'll tell you what, Silfai Longo, that was a brilliant pass back inside, brilliant run on the outside, turn back inside. Storm tell me he's going to be their player of the year. They think he's been amazing in his first full year at grade Q.
Yeah, he's had a very good year. He's played every game, Silfai Longo. Meaney from point-blank range to convert his own try, raises the flags. He's 2 from 2. Storm 12, Broncos 4. 17 minutes and 13 seconds remain in the first half of NRL Thursday on ABC Sport. Your texts continue to be welcome on 0467 920 222, and we're yet to see a change of convention. The team which has conceded score will kick off once again.
Go back to Fa'alongo. I think another 3, 4, 5 kilos is what he'll put on as he gets a little bit further along in his career, and that'll just be power. That muscle he put on will make him even better because he certainly is nimble and quick. A little bit more size won't hurt him at all.
He catches that kick off and feeds it off to Uta Wickamano. First carry off the restart, and Melbourne 15 metres from the southern end on what is a clear night for footy. Terrific conditions, really. It's the last Broncos home game of the season as Keeley gets to the 30. Now given to King, who'll roll down the middle third. And he's going to be held up and stopped. In fact, it's the second last rugby league game in the NRL that will be played at this venue, unless by some weird machination the Dolphins can somehow get into the top 2. It's mathematically possible. They'll get one home game in the finals, but they play away the next couple of weeks. Munster with a little chip in behind the line was gathered by Blore, but he was among players and tried to create with a pass out the back among traffic. It didn't work. Perham jumps on it for the Broncos, and Brisbane with the ball, midway goal line and halfway.
Can I have a point of order, Q-Man? Don't forget the World Cup.
I was saying NRL game.
All right, mate.
That was going through
So
my mind.
thank you for your point of order, but I was very particular in talking about last NRL
Yeah, I thought that might have been the case.
game. Yes, this venue's going to host the Rugby League World Cup final. What is that, the 15th of November? For some reason
Correct, that's right.
that's in my brain as Payne Haas rolls forward, and the Broncos have got it 2 metres inside their own half. Last play of the set called by Wyatt Raymond, the referee, so Ben Hunt kicks deep downfield. Failongo underneath it, takes it left corner, 10 from his own line, and then boom, he just accelerates as if the gun started at the 100 metres. Jumped out of the blocks, but he got tackled. He went from zero to very quickly, but taken down by Jaden Hunt. Yeah, and he's slow to get up. Failongo, but does play the ball now. How's he looking? Yeah, just a little rueful. His left leg is heavily strapped. I don't think that was the issue. Next carry, Tui Malatu Brown to the 20. And then play 3, Meany out on the right edge is 2 metres from halfway. Can I say, I've been to a lot of games here. I've never heard a Broncos game so quiet at the Cauldron.
Yeah, I think they're in shock about a few things, and that's probably the whole week.
Yeah, it's really quiet by this venue's standards. It's worldwide as they left side edge. Failongo gives it on to Blore, who's taken down from behind by Staggs.
That's a big tackle by Staggs, Stu. That defused that situation. Very dangerous for the Broncos.
They'll be teammates next year. Last play in Melbourne. Hughes is rushed at by Ricky, but got his kick away just in time. And the contact from Ricky was late. Broncos did defuse the kick, but that's a penalty going to Melbourne.
That was a poor play by Ricky. It wasn't required. He's hit Hughes, late and a little bit high. That was always going to be a penalty. And now what has been flimsy already, Zano, the Broncos' defence is going to be sorely tested here by the Storm.
And Blore's getting some treatment from the trainer. I can tell you, Failongo, he's got a bit of a burner on that right shoulder, but he's toughing it out there, the little fella. Watch him go in this set.
So Munster kicks for touch, and Melbourne will have a crack at the line here. 14 minutes left in the first half. Melbourne lead 12-4. Munster receives centre field. Passes to the right for Hughes. Given on to Alec McDonald, who's now out there for Melbourne. One of 10 players that played in the grand final that's suiting up tonight. He's tackled 10 metres out. Grant to the left to Munster. Infield runs Blore. He receives, but well read by the tackle of Ricky. Puts him down. Storm to play at 15 from the goal line. Grant passes right. Liero puts it under his right wing, weaves to his left, then links up with Munster. Munster's ball to Wishart. Tyron Wishart goes in to score Melbourne's third try. Tonight, it's pick a number, any number to wear on the back of Tyron Wishart. He's wearing the number 3, playing in the centres. The Swiss Army knife of the Storm headed west. And Wishart scores for Melbourne 16, Brisbane 4, kick to come.
Well, that is where the Broncos 2026 campaign has unravelled its inability to defend any type of mistake. Ricky, poor choice of charging down. Hughes gives away a penalty. Tackle 3 of that next set of 6. Trent Liero goes on a meandering run across field and just is able to find enough space to put Munster in a little bit of a hole, and then a beautiful run off the left-hand side of that. We find Wishart, not a bona fide centre, but he said can play everywhere. Should have been stopped and didn't, and he knew exactly how to carve his way in and find a hole. Well done, Storm. Well done. The filling in centre, Tyron Wishart.
So Nick Meany will try and convert. 13 metres in from touch on the left. Tyron Wishart, his 99th NRL game tonight. So he will celebrate his 100th next week when the Storm go to Shark Park and play Cronulla. As Meany converts, he's 3 from 3. Melbourne 18 lead Brisbane 4. 12 minutes left in the first half.
Debate, gentlemen. Zano, is this where you should say, no, we want the ball back?
Brisbane's going to kick off again, he'd say.
But shouldn't they say, no, kick the ball back to us, Zano?
Well, particularly now that they're behind by such a significant margin, giving themselves a chance of scoring. So,
Why would you not do that?
well, I said to the Storm earlier tonight, I said, well, if you were sort of chasing, wouldn't you just put up a short kickoff, but Broncos are going to try and drive it deep, make the mistake. But yeah, once again, they're giving the ball back. It's a very interesting, these whole tactics.
I wonder, and my conspiracy theory brain is starting to go berserk. Munster fields the kickoff and throws a forward pass to Fa'alongo.
That's why they didn't do it.
Yeah.
It was going to be a forward pass.
Imagine if both teams had a wink and a nudge and said, stuff the NRL for using us as guinea pigs. We're going to play the same rules all night.
Yeah. That's you. That's your mind ticking away.
Well,
yeah.
Do you reckon we'll see it before the end of the game?
I hope so.
I'm sure we will.
I want to see what it looks like.
I mean, I'm just being scurrilous by suggesting such things.
That's
But by the way, if we get to the end of the night and no one's decided to, well, receive after conceding, anyway, that mistake from Cam Munster, he had to go to a knee to that kickoff which dipped a bit, which sort of, well, contributed to the forward pass. Broncos on the attack, 10 metres out, as Staggs goes to the right and is taken 10 in from touch and is 10 metres from the goal line. Melbourne lead 18 points to 4. Brisbane on the attack to the Milton Road end as Payne Haas rolls forward. Oh, it's a glittering array of stars that the Broncos have had over the years, but as far as club champions, no one's won more than Payne. He's won 6 of them. To the left, Ben Hunt feeds the inside line of namesake Jaden Hunt, who's tackled 8 metres out, played to Walters, runs open side right, gives it on to VJ Semu. The young man tackled underneath the uprights and only 2 metres out. Walters directs Brisbane to the right. Ben Hunt onto Perham. Oh, there's a player that goes down in the periphery. Munster play on Perham, then gets tackled by Wishart. Last play, Brisbane 5 out in the right. Back to left and centre field for Ben Hunt. He kicks high to the left wing. Meany leaps and catches brilliantly over the top of Mariner, and he's tackled for Melbourne 8 metres from his own line.
Dare I say, the two centres for Melbourne are playing good.
Oh, where are they playing next year? Torrin Wishart and Nick Meany, Billy?
I have no idea.
No, of course you do. They're headed to the red and the black out west with Mal. Yes, Billy Moore with yours truly, Quentin Hull and Zane Bojack, as Keely's taken out on the right. Still midway goal line and halfway. Alec McDonald, he buffets off one, crawls a metre or two forward before Mam finishes off the tackle. Melbourne 12 from halfway. Grant jumps out of dummy half, realised the muckers were a muddle, so he gains 10 before passing right through Hughes, but Hughes' pass to the edge immediately wrapped up by Keely at the end of the set. Back to Hughes for the kick. It's a bomb. Oh, it just let pitch and it bounces back Melbourne's way. Cooper Clark take it, chucks it to McDonald. Melbourne alive. Last play, they're 30 out, chucking it to the left. Wishart then passes back infield to Fa'alongo. He gives to Munster. Munster now kicks for the right wing. Karapani knocks it backwards and over the touchline. So he couldn't catch it, knocked it backwards, thought I can clean this up, but the ball went over the touchline, so Melbourne will get the ball back.
And Zano, can they defend this, the Broncos? Because as I touched on, that's what 2026, one of their several Achilles heels has been the inability to stop points coming their way.
And they're going to go that side a lot, Bill, over on that eastern side, because Sean Blaw's off with a Cat 2 HIA, which is why Cooper Clark's out there on this left edge.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. The Bronco-bound Blaw. So also Hinchy's out there. Angus Hinchy for Melbourne. Tackled 5 out now. Hughes, quick hands to the right. Meany gives it to the edge for Tui Malatu Brown. He beats one and carries the tackle of a second into the in goal to score. And there's a bit of a dust-up going on after that try. Not much in it, referees there, to ensure it doesn't blow up. But a good finish from Siu Tui Malatu Brown. And that's a 4th try for Melbourne in the first half. The Storm lead it 22 points to 4 with a kick to come.
Great
beat a couple there.
Great work to Malatu Brown. He beat, obviously, the lock forward Carrigan dead and then just ploughs over the top.
Oh, it was a shocking attempted tackle from Karapani. Yeah, Mariner was the guy he carried into the in goal, but Karapani missed him around the legs cold.
And then Carrigan was not much better. He should, all he did was touch him, and then he carried Mariner over. Tui Malatu Brown.
Tui Malatu Brown.
Tui Malatu Brown.
Yes.
First time I've really come across Tui Malatu Brown.
Very well done. You got your syllables in order very quickly.
Yeah, so well done. Great try by the young man. And you saw Mariner, his centre partner, me, just gave him the ball. You could see why. Here, mate, you do your stuff.
Yep.
Bang, beats one, beats 2, and the third one he just carries him over the line. Well done.
That was a double mistake by Dean Mariner. Not only did he run up out of the line and create the space on the outside, but also they missed a tackle coming back. Wow!
No resilience Zano.
Meany, 23 metres out, 3 metres in from touch on the right. Dream start for Melbourne in this first half. He puts it to his right boot. His copybook remains perfect. 4 from 4 off the boot from the Perth-bound Nick Meany. And the Melbourne Storm lead the Brisbane Broncos by 24 points to 4. 6 minutes and 46 seconds remain in this first half. And guess who's kicking off again?
The Bronx
They've conceded the last 3 tries and they're kicking off again.
Yeah, receive the ball, turn around. Let's just, I go back to my point. How poor is their defence inside their 20, the Broncos?
Tony on the text, he says, Q, can you please explain the new rules for an old goal? Pretty simple, Tony. So now the team conceding the points has the right to receive the kick-off rather than just automatically kick off. But they have chosen to kick off. We haven't seen that option being used as yet.
So the team that gets scored against can have the right to ask for the ball back, which I think is a great way when you're on the back foot like the Broncos are right now.
Well, they invite the other team to kick off, who probably would go for a short kick-off if they're going well. But anyway, here goes Hinchy down the middle third for Melbourne. He's 18 metres inside his own half as the Storm continue to dictate terms here at Lang Park. Failongo to the right to Liero, given to Keeley. Dummy steps inside, beats man, beats Jaden Hunt, keeps going before running into the tackle of Moser. Moser needs help and he gets it from Jaden Hunt and also Semu to finish the tackle. Last play, Melbourne 40 out. Hughes with a bomb for the Storm. Taken by Parham on his own 10. He's pushed back a metre or 2. Huda Wikamanu, Meany, Wishart and Tui Malatu Brown, the try scorers for Melbourne. 4 from 4 for Meany. Staggs the only try for the Broncos. Parham couldn't convert. Melbourne 24, Brisbane 4. NRL Thursday on ABC Sport with 5.5 to the break. Grant Anderson's got it for Brisbane. Tackled 15 from his own line. Moser a distributor. Passes right for Staggs. Staggs over the 20 by a metre or 2. Stop right edge as he plays at midway goal line and halfway. Outside in play, back to the blind, trying to feed Jordan Ricky. But Munster was up to that. He makes first contact and he gets some help from Wishart and Grant to make the tackle. Bronx on their own 30. Fed infield to Ben Hunt, evades the pressure there from Hinchy before getting a kick downfield. Taken by Failongo with a bit of galloping room on the 20. Up to the 30. Puts on the goose step. Passes to the right. Dummy and straighten out there from Tui Malatu Brown. But Mariner makes the tackle on that occasion to put down the Melbourne winger. But a good return off the kip for the Storm. They start this set in attacking territory by a metre or 2. Failongo receives 1 man infield. Has a dance before being stopped 1-on-1. Will play at 42 metres out. Grant passes left and centre field and Moses Leo straightens thing up. He's getting more confidence the season goes, Moses Leo. Second half of the year, I'd say much better than his first. Now to the right, Munster's got the ball. Tackle, throws an offload which is loose. Juggled by Ezra Mam. He catches it. He's got 70 to sprint. Puts on the afterburners to get past the valiant chase of McDonald. And against the run of play, Ezra Mam scores an intercept try for Brisbane.
Well, that's what this contest needed, Q. I was going to say they need to score next to Bronx. They've done that. Bit fortuitous, but you take them whoever they come your way. And Ezra Mam put himself in the right position. Munster was passing the ball. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to hit his target. Mam knocked the ball in the air, regathered. Alex McDonald, what a good chase that was. He nearly caught him, but in the end, too many good wheels there. The 5'8" for the Broncos goes down the park, scores virtually under the black dot. This will get the game back in a little bit of a contest. With the kick to come, it'll be 24-10.
Two things impressed me then. One was the chase, as you said, of Alan McDonald. You know the other guy that almost got him in the in goal? Cooper Clark. How quick is that bloke? He's supposed to be a front rower. Unbelievable. The other thing was Cameron Munster got exposed twice, not only by his pass, but also by his pants being pulled down.
As Parham converts from straight in front, Storm 24, Broncos 10, 3 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in this first half. NRL Thursday on ABC Sport. My name's Quentin Hull with a Hollywood combo of Billy up top and Zane down below. Your text continued to be welcome on 0467 920 222.
Great try, but they really haven't thrown that much at the Storm in the last 15 minutes. They started well, the Bronx. Their first 10 was good shape. Good move of the ball, really tested the Storm, but the last 15, they've been on the back foot, no resilience in defence. That, for all that are involved in this contest, are hoping it ignites something that gets the crowd pumped up and brings them into the game, because, as we've touched on, you wouldn't find a quieter Broncos crowd than what we've had here tonight.
And Melbourne opt to kick off, or should I say, yes, they do opt to kick off. Still just getting used to that. Meany puts it deep, and Broncos have got to fight from their own line. The Brad Talon sticky notes have made their first appearance on this Thursday night. He's just put one to me. Missed tackles. Broncos 27, Storm 6. Ouch. Which is part of the reason why Melbourne lead the game 24-10. Brisbane mid-set. Carrigan entrusted to roll down the middle third and gain ground. He's up to the 30. 2 plays left in this set off the kickoff for the Bronx. Young Semu, they call him VJ. He's taken and loses the ball 10 from halfway. Semu's arms got in an awkward position in that tackle, and he's knocked it on. So the Bronx don't get to their kick, and Melbourne now has a chance to attack with a little over 2 minutes left on the clock.
And you'd be thinking, Q, what we've seen tonight, they're every chance. They're 38 out, centre field scrum. This set of 6, can the Broncos show a bit of ticker in defence and hold the Storm out? They can't afford another try before half-time for mine, the Bronx, if they're going to be serious about winning this contest.
4 to the right, 2 to the left. Now Fa'alongo goes left. So the pass goes left to Wishart, given to Fa'alongo, but good tackle from Anderson. Parham and Staggs offside, penalty to Melbourne. Just as I was about to say, you reckon Grant Anderson knew that play? He was the Bronco who knew what was happening, having been, no doubt, in countless Craig Bellamy sessions where they practiced that one off the scrum.
Yeah, he would have been able to just immediately go, I know where that ball's going.
Look at Sewer here.
Yes, I know what you're going to do.
So they'll try again here, the Storm. They're opting for the scrum. 37 metres from the Broncos line. 70 seconds left in the first half. 24-10. Melbourne lead Brisbane. Harry Grant decides a little kick for Fa'alongo in behind the line. How's the bounce? Parham overran it. Fa'alongo picks it up, gives it to Wishart, who scores under the post. Oh, that was fancy. You knew they were concocting something. So after the Fa'alongo shift left didn't work first time, they were gifted another scrum. Harry Grant, a kick directly in behind the line of the scrum. Parham got to it, but he fumbled his way over the ball, left it behind him. And Fa'alongo, the chaser, he was able to clean up, give it to Wishart in support. Tyron's got a double. Melbourne lead 28-10.
Champagne try by the Storm, you're right. The first play, you're right, Grant Anderson was able to work out what was happening. Maybe this play has been designed post-Anderson moving from the Storm, but it's a beautiful kick over the top by Harry Grant. Caught everyone napping. The fullback, Hayes Parham, had the opportunity to defuse it under a lot of pressure. The two custodians come together. He missed holding on the ball, rolled over the top of it. Beautifully picked up by Fa'alongo. Lovely little pop pass to Tyrone Wishart coming through, and that's his double for the first half. Great try by the Storm.
And Meany will make this 5 from 5 from directly in front. Approaches, strikes, no need for the whiteout. Flags are raised, and that's half-time at Lang Park. And the Storm lead the Broncos by 30 points to 10. A terrible season, a terrible week at Red Hill. Hasn't got any better through 40 minutes of football on this Thursday evening. The Storm with 5 tries to 2 in the first half. Wishart's got 2 of them. Tries also to Udawikamanu, Meany and Tui Malatu Brown. 5 from 5 off the kicking tee for Nick Meany. While for the Broncos, Staggs and Mam, the try scorers. Parham, 1 from 2. And we haven't seen a team yet take the option of receiving the ball after conceding points yet. So that the trial is on with this kickoff rule. And we've had a few in this first half, a few extra kickoffs. 7 tries. But at the moment, all 7 occasions, we've seen the incumbent rule used.
Yeah, you're right, Q. We're waiting to see what the future may hold for the kickoff, but we can't get too far away from the old. The Broncos have been outplayed on multiple facets. Both sides have made 5 errors apiece, but the telling fact, and we saw there, that Brad Talon sticking that hit the mark, missed tackles 27 Broncos, 7 by the Storm. No resilience by the Broncos. I think 4 of their 5 tries that they've conceded have come from an error inside their 30, and the ensuing set of 6, the Storm just waltzed their way through feeble defence. That's symptomatic of 2026. They are just not the side they were last year in multiple departments, and the defence is at the forefront of that. They've scored 2 1-foot shooters, intercept try by the 5'8" Ezra Mam, but at the moment they are massive long odds to be able to put their nose in front of this Storm side, who've come to this venue, which they love. Their record is such an amazing victory versus loss over the Broncos, and tonight you can't see it being anything but the record books staying the same way with a Storm victory.
Thanks, Bill. If you want to have yours, say 0467920222. Shout out to our regular stalwarts, the gear steward from Kalinga's on board. Dion, g'day guys. Always nice to have your company at the footy. Joe, the Perth Bears member, texts, thanks Billy for all the work resurrecting North's footy.
Thank you.
There you go. So which future Bears have we got tonight? Torrin Wishart, Nick Meaney. There's another one, isn't there, somewhere?
Shibasaki,
yeah,
hasn't turned up as yet.
If he gets out there, give him at Shibasaki. So, yeah, thank you. 0467920222. The crowd here is about to be entertained by Kita Alexander at halftime. We'll entertain you with the latest from the newsroom in just a moment. Repeating Storm 30, Broncos 10 NRL Thursday on ABC Sport. We'll be back after the latest from the newsroom.
ABC News with Andrew Kalupas. Nepali authorities say the death toll from flash flooding near the border with Tibet now stands at 270, while 1,400 people are missing, including dozens of Australians. Here's John O'Wakely.
Nepal's tourism board says at least 35 Australians now remain unaccounted for following the deluge. That update comes after Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong said earlier today at least 34 Australians were missing. Authorities in Nepal say around 100 missing Indian visitors and 25 Chinese workers have been located by rescuers, leaving around 1,400 others unaccounted for. Rescue efforts are being hampered by steep hilly terrain and roads and bridges in the region destroyed by the flooding. Local authorities and aid organisations have expressed fears the death toll will continue to rise.
A couple from Western Sydney is among the dozens of Australians missing in Nepal following the major flash flooding disaster. Here's Patricia Tiano.
52-year-old Venkat Raman Balakrishnan and his 46-year-old wife Chitra Venkat Raman were on a tour with hiking company Himalayan Glacier when the disaster struck. The company says 47 people, including 15 Australians, remain unaccounted for. The couple's son has told the ABC he lost spark to them when they were around 15 kilometers from the Tibet border. He hasn't heard from them since, but holds out hope the tour group will be found safe. The family of a female pilgrim from Queensland, Kanagama Sundrasan, says they're worried as she was due to be in the affected area, and they haven't heard from her since Tuesday.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has guaranteed Labor will maintain Australia's refugee intake at its current level, despite his own minister earlier suggesting it would be cut from next financial year. Here's political reporter Jack Mackay.
This morning, a spokesperson for Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke confirmed Labor plan to reduce the humanitarian intake next financial year from 20,000 to 13,750. But the Prime Minister has now intervened after Labor backbenchers were left confused and angered by the minister's surprise move. Anthony Albanese has told the ABC the refugee intake needs to be renewed in the coming budget, but the intake number of 20,000 remains government policy. At last month's ALP conference, there was unanimous agreement on a resolution committing Labor to maintaining the existing refugee intake.
Assault charges brought against federal politician Luke Gosling have been thrown into doubt after the Commonwealth Director of Public Prosecutions declined to take on the case. Roxanne Fitzgerald reports.
Mr. Gosling has denied 2 charges. He assaulted Northern Territory Administrator David Connolly at a Thai festival. The NT Director of Public Prosecutions handballed the matter because of a perceived conflict of interest, and at the time, the Commonwealth DPP indicated it was likely able to take on the matter. But today, a spokesperson said after reviewing its powers to conduct a state or territory prosecution, it cannot. An NT DPP spokesperson says it still believes it should not conduct the matter and is currently considering alternative arrangements.
The West Australian Premier says the Commonwealth needs to exempt the state from an upcoming domestic gas reservation scheme. From next year, LNG exporters will have to provide an amount equivalent to 20% of their exports to the domestic market. Premier Roger Cook has told an energy industry event that's unnecessary in WA because the state's existing reservation policy, combined with projects which only supply to WA's market, is already equivalent to 20% of exports. He said any changes risk creating uncertainty for investors.
My message on gas is the same as my message on the GST. Hands off our GST, hands off our gas. Solve the problems on the East Coast and leave WA free to continue to develop the huge industries that power the national economy.
Russia says it could strike British military targets inside and outside Ukraine in response to Ukrainian strikes on Russia using British missiles. Russia's foreign ministry is calling on Britain to back off what it says is London's hostile stance over Ukraine. A few days ago, Britain announced it would give Kiev access to classified technology to start its own production of Storm Shadow long-range cruise missiles capable of striking deep inside Russia. ABC News.
Are there any winners in the cost of living crisis? Has gambling become our national sport? How much more can our farmers survive? What's causing the algal bloom? Can we afford the energy transition?
Questions. They've never been more important. So the one thing we'll never question is our duty to keep asking. ABC News. Keep asking.
ABC sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Tap and go from the Storm. Udawikamanu buffets off one before getting into the in-goal area.
The fingers remain on the ball and grounds it. We have a decision.
Stefano Udawikamanu will be awarded the try. Mam on to Walters, shows it, gives it to Ben Hunt. Second man to the right, Karam, given on to Staggs. Dummy and straightened for the corner, and he takes the tackle of Wishart to within a metre of the goal line. Enough for him to reach out and bang down the Steeden for the answering try. Hughes to Fa'alongo, feeds the inside line of Meany, who goes through flimsy defence of Mam and Haas, and Nick Meany scores for Melbourne on a simple inside line and a hole which had all rights to be a bit tighter. Storm to play at 15 from the goal line. Grant passes right, Liero puts it under his right wing, weaves to his left, then links up with Munster. Munster's ball to Wishart. Tyron Wishart goes in to score Melbourne's third try. Hinchy's out there, Angus Hinchy for Melbourne. Tackled 5 out now. Hughes, quick hands to the right. Meany gives it to the edge for Tuimalatu Brown. He beats one and carries the tackle of a second into the in-goal to score. And there's a bit of a dust-up going on after that try. Munster's got the ball. Tackled. Throws an offload which is loose. Juggled by Ezra Mam. He catches it. He's got 70 to sprint. Puts on the afterburners to get past the valiant Jason McDonald. And against the run at play, Ezra Mam scores an intercept try for Brisbane. Harry Grant decides a little kick for Fa'alongo in behind the line. How's the bounce? Perum overran it. Fa'alongo picks it up, gives it to Wishart, who scores under the post. Oh, that was fancy.
ABC sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio
and ABC Listen.
Well, the Cauldron Melbourne's hardly got to a simmer on this round 26 fixture. Welcome back to NRL Thursday on ABC Sport. My name is Quentin Hull. Good news for Storm fans, though. 5 tries to 2 in favour of Melbourne in the first half, and it's the Storm 30 leading the Broncos 10 at half-time. Quentin Hull alongside Billy Moore and Zane Bojack for the call. Tomorrow night, we have 2 games for you, coverage starting at 5:30. Brookvale's the first game where Manly Warringah take on St George Illawarra, while all of the interest as far as the finals is concerned is around Canterbury Bankstown taking on Penrith at Western Sydney Stadium at 8 o'clock, with the Bulldogs just outside the top 8 as the round begins and only 2 games left. So, yeah, a couple of games as ever for you on the Friday night, but there's a fair bit of interest in that 8 o'clock game where the Bulldogs are hoping that, well, they can keep their dream alive. They need the likes of the Cowboys and others to drop a game or 2. Yeah, Dogs with 11 wins, Cowboys 12 wins, Souths 12 wins. But the Souths points differential is much better than the Bulldogs. But if the Doggies win and the Cowboys can't get past the West's Tigers later in the weekend, well, the Dogs would start the final round inside the 8, Billy.
There's so much movement that can happen in that top 8, or really it's a top 9. The top 4 can well, actually it's 5. They can move around. You've got 3 teams sitting on equal first. Dolphins are 2 points back, then the Sharks, and then Newcastle 2 points behind them. I think it's a fascinating run in.
Well, the Knights are basically level because they're 14 wins. They don't have a game, though, in the last round. So their bye is round 27. They play 1 more game. Newcastle's last game before the finals will be against the Warriors on Sunday.
What a ripper that'll be. There's so many good games there.
Yeah, what about this one? We haven't seen the experimental kickoff rule opted in by any of the teams. So I mentioned 7 tries in the first half. So we didn't see 7 incidences of kickoffs because the last of them was right on half-time. But, yeah, each time a team conceded, they were happy enough to kick the ball back to the opposition.
They were. The tackle rate or tackle miss rate of the Broncos is horrendous. I imagine Coach Maguire would say, let's get the 1%ers right. Let's shore up that defensive line. Let's get ourselves in an arm wrestle. Let's play quick through the middle. All those little things that they seem to find so hard in 2026. And for the Storm, Coach Bellamy would just say, keep it going, more of the same. I like what I see, their shape, and they're playing down either side, that those corridors, after they get the momentum through the middle, they're hitting down those outside corridors both sides.
We get texts from a number of our loyal listeners who bring their radios and phones to listen to us at the ground. Among them, Tess Sess and Baby Becker in the Western Stand, beneath us somewhere. Thanks for your text, guys. They say, g'day, Q, Billy and Zane. We're long-time Broncos season ticket holders and loyal supporters. The vibe in the Western Stand where we sit is one of indifference. Perhaps it was the pathetic farewell to Adam Reynolds before kickoff, where they didn't even have a highlights montage of him. The way the whole announcement of Reynolds' retirement was handled was not only disrespectful to him, but indicative of our beloved Broncos' fall from grace this season.
For Tess, Sess and Baby Beck, you didn't even know there was a send-off. That's how bad that was.
Apart from the spotlight, and then as soon as the spotlight stopped, it sort of went to the ads while they were doing the lap of
And that spotlight was only there for a minute.
Let's go in this second half. A bit of a wobbly kick-off from the Storm. There's a smoke haze in the stadium from some fireworks as Carrigan takes the first carry of the second half. He's 12 from the southern in goal, so Brisbane now running towards the Caxton Street end in the second half as Ricky takes the ball into the line and Jordan Ricky just short of the 20. Plays the ball to Walters, passes left for Ben Hunt. Dummies, keeps it moving to the edge through Mam. Oh, it's been just held on to by Mariner. Juggled once, juggled twice.
Around his legs.
Fumbled it around the back of his thighs for the controlling touch.
That's wonderful.
That was a trick which really no rugby league player wants to show, but he did hold on to it just. Karapani next carry to the 30. Now Carrigan down the middle third and 14 metres from halfway as referee Wyatt Raymond says that's 5 of the opening set of the second half. Ben Hunt kicks downfield for distance. This will be fun. Failongo's going to catch it. 15 from his own line. Little weave left, little weave right. Jinky running laterally across the 20. Dummy and eventually taken by Peru.
He ran. It was Mariner.
Mariner who got
If
him.
he had fallen off there, he was away. The custodian for the Storm.
Oh, I love the way that he's so energetic. Let's get down to Zane as the Storm are on their own 20 hitting it up. What news from the room, Zane?
Well, the Broncos have been told that they've got to have more contact in their tackles. 31 missed tackles in that first half. It's all about trying to contain the Storm, who already have a 20-point margin at this stage. As for the Storm, Bellyache was a bit concerned about completions. He said, you guys are getting away with it at the moment, but your discipline's down and you're not finishing the set correctly. He goes, I want you to maintain your intensity and don't let up.
And that's the message from Luca to you on the text as well, by the way, as Hughes kicks downfield end of the set. Broncos take it, 10 from their own line. Perham is reeled in by the tackle of Keeley. Thanks, Luca. Yeah, keep the intensity up, he says. You know, Zanio, he says you're on hot form tonight. Fire up. Why don't you just fire up? Tell us what you really think.
I had a few people talk to me about my social media posts, but you know what? It's getting some traction. A lot of people on the ground feel the same way.
0467 920 222. Broncos with the ball. Left edge. It's played here by Mariner. Passes infield, goes to Carrigan, and he stopped. Who will be the Broncos full-time captain next year? That's one of the questions with Adam Reynolds retiring. Billy Walters from inside his own 30. Good purchase on the kick downfield. Failongo fields it though on the 20, but about 7 or 8 metres in from touch. Kick return tackled 15 from halfway. If you've got a thought on that, you can send us a text as well. Certainly Pat Carrigan was the captain before Adam Reynolds arrived at the club. He was a young anointed captain during the unsuccessful Anthony Seibold era before things changed when Reynolds came to the club in 2022. Moses Leo tackled short of halfway.
I don't think there's another option other than Carrigan for mine.
Yeah, well, Payne Haas obviously moving on. Now Liero's lost the ball. Loose carry. Strong tackle there by Jaden Hunt. And we've seen a couple of mistakes early in this second half. There was some talk that maybe Mitch Barnett, the incoming Warriors player, might get the nod. Don't know whether they'd do that though, would they?
I wouldn't think so. That was good D there by the Broncos. They manhandled Trent Liero, and Tukajeski over the top. He just basically brought the big impact and flung the Storm player to the ground. Liero and dislodged the ball. Let's see what they can do here. The Broncos 55 out.
We should mention, Q-Man, that even though it hasn't been announced, it's expected that Jaden Hunt's going to link up with the Raiders next year as well too. So this is possibly his last game in a Broncos jersey.
Yeah, he's off contract, and Jack Gajewski's the other one. He's got a fish and chip shop in town, and it'll be interesting to see. He's already had his 5th club, a real journeyman, Gajewski, but he's out there at the moment. Broncos shift at left, and Mariner puts on a little step, but good tackle from Meany around the hips. Drags him down. Brisbane with the ball. 40 from the Storm line, hard on western side. Fed infield by Karapani to Perham. Given a Hunt, who puts it on the chest of the straightening line of Semu. He's tackled 35 from the Storm line. Carrigan gives it to the right. Ben Hunt. Oh, that's a forward pass to Jordan Ricky. Come on, refs. That was so bad. That was a metre forward. Don't want that happening in the next 4 or 5 weeks of footy. Could cost a final. Ben Hunt bombs at the end of the set. Failongo out-leapt, but the man catching it, who's now obscured by 3 purple defenders, has lost it. It was Anderson who went up for that. And this will be no try, and just as well for the refs. That was a shocking forward pass that they missed.
Yeah, it was, without a doubt. Watching this, it's probably, if anything at the moment, that Failongo's weakness is his aerial skills.
It's a contest for the ball.
Anderson wins that.
He is disadvantaged by the fact he's not very tall.
Without a doubt. But
Just if there's any knock-on.
And he's a little bit light, as I said, a couple more kilos, you'll be able to actually manhandle the opposition, coming at him a bit better.
One thing we know
There's
about
no narcotics play on at this stage.
It's fine there.
about the advantage of the Storm being in the heartland of AFL is drop
Possession into the Melbourne Storm player over the try
Storm
line.
guys
We have a decision.
don't go from one season to the next not improving their leap and catch with the aerial ball.
That's the benefit of being in AFL Heartland, and that's where this squad missed the finals in 26. Let's see whether the Tier 3 become Tier 2. What we're talking about, Tier 2s become Tier 1s.
Well, let's be honest. The disruptor rule was brought in to stop the influence of a guy like Xavier Coates leaping and tapping the ball down as if it was an AFL baller.
Yep.
So now you have to have the genuine contest
Which
ball in the air.
I love seeing that genuine contest. It's great, spectacular.
No change to the halftime score. Melbourne lead 30-10. Munster's got the ball for the Storm, but he's reeled in by the tackle of Gajewski. And the Storm veteran plays it 5 inside his own half. Grant passes open side to the right for Hughes. Gives it on to Keeley. Got past man, but can't get past Jaden Hunt. Tackled 44 metres from the Brisbane line. Hunt passes blindside. End of the set, they run it a bit before Hughes now kicks. Downfield, it's leapt at and missed by Perham. And then I think knocked on, was it? By Meany.
Knocked on by the Storm first. What's his ruling? Yeah.
Knocked on by Meany. Hand over Brisbane's ball.
Keely's looking good. Zano, the right edge back row from the Finns, he just couldn't make the team there at the Peninsula, but he's certainly not looking out of sorts here tonight.
Absolutely, and you think with Tuolangi they might form a good second row combination next year, particularly if the news around Katoa, it's not looking good for him coming back next year, which is really sad. I'd love to see him out there, but let's hope he has a good off-season and he can get out there. This crowd's still pensive, 36,476 here tonight, and they're still rather quiet. I've been sold a pub, I got told 40 plus.
Yeah. Now Billy Walters loses the ball early in the Brisbane set, scurrying up to the 30. Two-man tackle squished him and the ball comes free. Munster picks it up, but is immediately tackled. Nonetheless, it's a turnover of possession and Melbourne now has it on the attack, 30 metres out. Tyron Wishart a straightening one. Taken 20 metres from the line. Quick play the ball. Grant gives it and it's the arrow on the inside line to Hinchy. Passes left for Munster. Give it on to Bloor. One-on-one. Staggs takes him down. And Sean Bloor will play it for the Storm 6 metres from the goal line. Hard in the left corner. Leo chucks it infield to the right to Munster. He on to Grant. He on to Hughes. And that's a bit stagnant. He stopped and propped and Keeley then eventually got given it, but was easy pickings for the defence. Slammed on his back by Carrigan 20 metres out. Grant back to the left for Hinchy. Buffets off Carrigan. Keeps going before his legs are taken from him by Gajewski. Plays it 7 metres out. Grant to the left. Munster was rushed at by Hunt. Buffets off him and passes back to Grant. Now it's chucked to the right-hand side. Hughes thought of the kick. Now he does. Grubber for the in-goal area. And it's fielded by Karapani of Brisbane. Only a metre or two from the dead ball line. Goal line dropout coming up for Brisbane.
They threw everything at the Broncos there, the Storm. Asked plenty of questions. They were up to the task this time, the Broncos. The team is pretty to watch how they basically investigated the integrity of the Broncos defensive line. Another repeat set of 6. Can they hold out this time, Brisbane?
So Ben Hunt, he tries the short kick-off. Did that travel a 10? It's right where the point of the 10-metre line and the touch line.
He could just cut the play and he dived. He's outside the field, play threw it back in.
Karapani caught it, but he was so close to the whitewash, he had to throw it infield, and Tuimalatu Brown ended up with it for Melbourne. So the Storm have got the ball back from the dropout, and they're only 10 metres out. Grant to the left for Hughes. McDonald juggles a flat line which put him through the hole. He was into the in-goal area, picked up by Ricky, who now takes high contact. Penalty Brisbane. Alec McDonald, he was in there, but he just couldn't catch the ball.
I think Leo might be in trouble here, Q. I think he's gone without the shoulder wrap. I think he's got him high, but you have a look at this tackle.
Is it Ricky high? Oh, yeah.
That is not good from Moses Leo.
They could be in the bin, that. Well, it's on report for sure.
The saving nature is that his arm is well below his own shoulder height. He hasn't lifted his arm to collect him, but he was trying. I'm going to give some mitigation for Moses Leo here. Let's hear what referee White Raymond says. Harry Grant's been called out as well.
He's doing this, he's putting him in the bin.
Yeah.
It generates the force for that contact direct moderate to their face on report in the bin.
So Moses Leo sent to the sin bin. His bicep hit the head of Jordan Ricky.
And as White Raymond said, there was force in that contact.
Yeah, and the man was going to ground.
Yep.
Are you happy with the decision?
Yes,
Bill?
I'm happy with it.
Do you think he should be suspended for that action?
Depends on his priors.
Yeah.
If he's got no priors, I'd say no. The 10 minutes in the bin's enough.
Yeah.
And Ricky's come off for a HIA, guys.
Okay.
Free interchange.
What do you think about that one, Zona? I know you've been a bit shy coming forthright with your opinions tonight, so I thought I'd let you.
Straight away, I thought that was a sin bin for sure, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Okay. So, Brisbane with the one-man advantage, and don't they need it? Because the scoreline reads Melbourne 30, Broncos 10. Haas has got the ball just beyond the 20-metre line, so he's 158th and penultimate game as a Bronco. His last here at Lang Park. Tackled 25 from his own line. Played to Walters. Jumps out of dummy half. He's been energetic tonight. Why wouldn't you be if you've had 12 months off with a knee injury and missed the grand final? Plays at 15 from halfway. Now to the left. Ben Hunt to man. Ezra to the logo, but taken down western side on halfway by the tackle of Hughes. Plays it near that NRL paint on the western side. Passed infield to Ben Hunt. Gives it on to Carrigan. Carrigan tackled on 41 metres from the Melbourne line. Last play, give it to Ben Hunt. High right foot kick downfield from 40 metres out. Comes down 12 from the goal line. Anderson taps it backwards legally to Staggs. Staggs is tackled. He kicks it cross field. Ezra Mann's got it. Who kicks it back to the right wing. Ben Hunt's going to catch it. Munster's there. Tries to stop him, but can't stop him from grounding the ball. It was like, dare I say it, two senior citizens fighting over the best of the bingo cards at the RSL, with Munster and Ben Hunt tackling in the corner. But Ben Hunt scores the try, and it's Melbourne 30, Brisbane 14. Kick to come.
You're right, two old boys played a part in the very back end of what was a superb play. Bomb goes up by Hunt. The ball's tapped back by Anderson. Staggs gets in a little bit of a kick, impeded by the tackle, and then Ezra Mann, great vision, puts it on the toe, goes straight back to where the ball had come from via the Stag kick, and that movement of going against the grain caught the Storm defenders out. Munster was able to read it late, but wasn't able to defuse what was a superb Broncos try by the 7, Ben Hunt.
Oh, beware the second kick, they say. Beware the second kick. What about Benny Hunt now, Billy? You don't understand this. He's off the nudie run. He gets his first try of the season, and it comes in the second last game of the year. He'll be a relief, man.
I reckon this is where, if you're the Storm, give us the ball back. It's 30 points to 14, kick to come. Stop the momentum. This is where you think, surely you want the ball after the kickoff.
Well, 100%. Yeah.
I reckon that, and I haven't seen what they've decided.
And I think it's happening because the Broncos are on the line.
Yeah, okay.
Well done, Zano.
Well, it's a first here at Lang Park in a moment. Let's see if Perham can convert the try, and he misses near side, and we are going to see the first option taken of this kickoff rule, and
there'll be a short kick out for sure.
There's a man down as well for the Storm.
Yes.
So in the first half, we didn't see the new option taken, but now Melbourne has just conceded a try, but has asked for the ball to be kicked off by the Broncos, which is the experimental law being used tonight. Storm 30, Broncos 14. 28 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game, and Ben Hunt does try a shortish kickoff. It went about 28 metres. Oh, luckily for Wishart, he knocked it backwards, and Bloor was there to mop it up. It was a bit messy, but the Storm get away with it and do get the ball back. So, as Cooper Clark's taken 26, 27 metres from his own line. There you go, Bill. What do you make of that?
Anti-climax, because I would have, if I was the Broncos, made it a contest, because you're down by 16, go the real short one, and make just 10 metres, put it up in the air, and have a lottery. So I don't quite get putting it 25 metres back where there's no real contest.
Yeah, and interesting, we would have thought it would have been a team that's chasing the game rather than leading it that made that decision. There's a 2-on-1 strip here, and Melbourne will get the penalty. That makes sense, doesn't it? If you're a man down, why not take the ball? and waste a bit of time.
100% is a challenge by the Broncos on the penalty for a strip, I think it was. But for mine, the whole point there was to get the ball back from
There's two players in the
Broncos' perspective.
Meem's getting some running repairs here, guys. Around his hamstring.
And just a note to our listeners on the 6:12 AM frequency around southeast Queensland, if you went to the news a short time ago, our sincere apologies. That was a mistake. It shouldn't have happened. So we're sorry that happened. We're getting a couple of notes about that. So our apologies. Yeah, not supposed to happen.
Maybe our managing director didn't like what I've been saying tonight, Q. He might have censored me.
You'll be getting a memo, Zano.
Sorry, Hugh.
Hugh kicks for touch, finds it 30 metres from the Brisbane line. Tap and taken forward there by Oren Keeley, who's 23 metres from the Brisbane line. So the Storm, having received the ball off the kickoff, now get the penalty and get to the other end of the field. So this is the sort of nuance that we were waiting for. It's taken the momentum out of the Bronx trying to get their comeback going. Uduikamanu tackled 15 out. Cooper Clark has a charge. And the young big lump of a lad is tackled 6 metres from the Broncos line. So they conceded the Storm, but they're a chance to score next with that nuance of the rule. Uduikamanu goes forward and is taken on the right edge and 5 metres from the Brisbane line. Grant's a dummy half. Looks open side, passes blind to a little hit and spin move, but it didn't work. Man was there to make the tackle on Keeley. Last play, Grant tries to chip it to the in-goal area, took a Broncos touch. Knocked on by the Broncos. Keeley then can't pick it up. So I'd suggest original knock on Brisbane.
So would I. Advantage. Not enough.
No advantage. And Storm. What? Hold on.
Arm or body.
Yes, it's the Broncos' ball because
Cooper Clark couldn't recover it.
No, but I thought it was played at by Pat Carrigan and he knocked it on.
Yeah, but Cooper Clark knocked it on. So it came off Carrigan, wasn't a knock on. It was
Carrigan knocked it on.
Well, there has been ruled as a knock on.
Yeah. Did you think that was a knock on from Carrigan?
Well, it hit his arm.
Yeah. And did it go forward?
Yes. But isn't
that a knock on?
Well, it came off his arm anyway, so it's a knock on.
Yeah. So why have the Broncos got it?
Good question.
Yeah.
It's a whole new world.
It is. And Brisbane on there 20. So saying, just to finish on that, did you see a reason why Raymond award the other way?
Well, I just thought that he ruled play on that Carrigan had charged it down or played at it, but I didn't think that he ruled it as a knock on, and then Cooper Clark tried to recover it and he knocked on.
Okay. Anyway, that's as clear as mud. Brisbane with the football on halfway again, shifting to the left edge, and that's a nice fend from Mariner to get away from the tackle of Meaney before being stopped 40 out by the tackle of Hughes. Played to Karapani, passed infield to Ben Hunt. It's the last, so he bombs from the 40. Failongo, he leaps and catches that one, Billy. Uduikamanu watching on from the sideline, giving that a bit of an applause as he's jumped on Failongo 12 metres from his own line. Forward goes to Malatu Brown.
Still plenty of time in the contest, Q. 25 minutes to go. Down by 16. If they can score next to the Bronx, we will have a contest.
Tony from Nimbus says, trust a Queensland team to be the first team to take the soft option from the start. It wasn't them. It was the Storm who decided it.
Yes.
Yeah, so just trying to have a joke, but yeah, the Storm decided that they wanted to get the ball back because it's the conceding team that gets the pick. I know everyone's sort of working it out tonight. Here's Hughes.
It's good.
Tackled on halfway.
I like the idea about taking the momentum away from the side that's chasing you down, so yes.
And now the ball is sort of played and everyone watches. Grant then picks it up, gives the Failongo. Forward pass infield to Grant. Ref saw that.
That worked out great from the Storm perspective. Harry Grant was trying to milk a penalty, but Wyatt Raymond said, you did that, so you can't blame the defence because of the way he moved around the mark.
24 minutes to go. Melbourne 30, lead Brisbane 14.
And then all of a sudden, they opened up an opportunity for the Storm, but a forward pass diffused everything from their perspective.
9 wins for the season for the Storm. By the way, the Broncos, 7 wins right now is the same number of wins that they picked up in the 2021 season, coming off a wooden spoon year. Right side shift here for the Broncos, and Staggs has tackled. Extraordinary to think that off a premiership year, they're at the same number of wins. 7 wins. Now, Perham with a straightening run for the Broncos. He's taken by Udawikamanu, only a dozen metres out. Udawikamanu strips the ball, then chucks it away in disgust. Lucky not to give away an extra 10 there. And the referee says time off. Couldn't have been an extra 10 because it was close to the goal line, but would have been brought back out to the 10. But still, you get my point.
I do get
Take it forward, take it back.
Let's see, for this contest sake, as I said, if the Broncos can score here, the Storm are starting to...
Oh, dear. First play, Billy Walters has passed it, and it was just in front of Oak Tulfa. Had to slip to his knees to catch it. Oh, dear. But the Broncos have the ball. Payne Haas goes forward. Taken just left of the uprights, 8 metres out. Walters wants to do it himself out of dummy half. He's tackled, though, right on the goal line. 6 more against the Storm. Walters goes back and plays the ball. Spin move from Willison out of dummy half. Hughes is there to make the tackle and stop him. Willison gets to his feet to play it. Hughes is in the ruck. Ref lets it go. Walters passes right to Mam. Give it to Ben Hunt. Feeds the inside. Straightening line of Hunt. There's been a couple of pings. Storm might be lucky to keep their 12 out there if that doesn't stop. Well, Ben Hunt's pass to Payne Haas was behind him and dropped. Picked up by the Storm. Meany gives it on to Hughes. Hughes is tackled on the 20. And Melbourne survive as Ben Hunt's pass was in behind Big Payne. Gee, that would have been nice for the crowd here. He's another, of course, playing his last game as a Bronco at this venue this evening. Payne Haas, but he's knocked it on. Melbourne have got it on the 30.
He catches, he scores. It was the right pass, just poorly executed, and it was behind the big guy, and he wasn't able to handle it, but it was definitely through a hole.
As Munster runs up to halfway for Melbourne. Slammed on his back. And that was very... I don't know what the ruck infringement was for there. Tulfa, and then that gives away a penalty.
Munster's got under his skin there.
Yeah.
Tulfa, he's been pulled away by one of the senior players, but Munster's given a bit of verbal.
It was a bit of hand in the face against Oak Tulfa, and now he's on report zone for the slamming tackle.
And not just that, I think he's actually given a bit of dissent to the referee. He wasn't happy, White Raymond. I think he'd already given the penalty, so I'm surprised he didn't march him. But anyway, yes, disappointment here for the Storm as they get Moses Leo back. They're back to 13Q.
It's really interesting too. Oak Tulfa signed as a forward sort of backup this year, but he's only been able to play the 8 games coming across from the Dolphins. He is signed for next year as well. As Melbourne go forward through King. He's up to the 30 now. Udawikamanu tackled 20 out. Played every game this year, the front row pairing of King and Big Stefano. Now to the right, Munster feeds the inside line of Clark. He's had a big year as well. He's played every game for the Storm. Tackled 10 out. Grant passes to the left for Munster. Holds it and then feeds the inside line of Blore, who's tackled 5 to the left of the uprights, 5 metres out. Storm right on the press to the Milton Road end. Grant passes right. Hughes beats the tackle of Mam, only to be stopped by Willison 2 metres out. 5 to the right of the uprights. Grant's blind side. Gives the pass to Keeley, but Mam's there to make good first contact and stop him. Now Harry Grant passes left and centre field to Hughes, to Munster, the old firm combine. Oh, brother for Sua. Failomo is on the end of that. Grabs and dots down before the dead ball line. Oh, it reminds me of the call I had with Clinton during Magic Round. You get the triumvirate involved and good things happen. Grant to Hughes. Hughes to Munster. Munster on the toe. The triumvirate set it up, and then Faialong or scurries through to score. It's 34-14, kick to come.
Yeah, what a Rolls-Royce triumvirate you're talking about. And by the time Munster gets the ball, they've got a 5-on-3. And this is where he has to make a decision, Munster. How are we going to score? Not if, but how. And this time he puts it on the toe. Faialonga comes through and kicks. He gives Grant Anderson a bit of a spray saying, mate, you used to be one of us, now you're one of them. That's bad luck for you, buddy. But great try by the Storm. And as you said, when you put the ball through the hands of great players, something nearly always happens. And that was a beautiful show of what the Storm can do when they're on song.
And with that try, he goes one ahead of Will Warbrick as the Storm's leading try scorer this season. What a year it's been for Flyalonga. Of course, getting the opportunity with the retirement of Ryan Pappenhausen, and as you said, Q, has improved throughout the year.
Meany 15 in from the left, and the ball only 18 metres out. Nick Meany's kicked 5 from 5 tonight. Approaches, strikes, 6 of the best from the Storm kicker. And it's Melbourne 36, Brisbane 14. 19 minutes and 14 seconds remain on NRL Thursday on ABC Sport.
Maybe Q for this Storm outfit.
And the Bronx want the ball.
Yeah, Storm kicking off, Q.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry, Billy.
I was going to say, maybe it's going to take... We're used to seeing players improve inside one season. That players go from tier 3 to tier 2, 2s to 1s. Maybe this side's going to take a little bit longer. And someone like a Fa'alonga is on the rapid rise, but seeing Keeley and other players, Cooper, but maybe they're going to improve.
As I say, roster-wise, Coates no games, Eli Katoa no games, Tui Kamikamitha only 4 games. So, obviously, and the retirement of Pappenhausen.
Solomona, Sofa Solomona.
As for Solomona, well, he wasn't going to be going around in first grade this year, was he anyway? But he was someone that was a part of the Storm for a long time. Is not there anymore. You're right, there's been a few changes. Brisbane's got it, and Talfa on report, but with the football and tackled short of the 30. Brisbane running it upfield. Perfect Thursday night conditions. Ben Hunt again just pushing the envelope with a couple of those short passes. That looked flat at best as Willison gets to halfway, carrying Keeley along the way for a few post-contact metres. Now Haas goes into attacking territory. 2 around him, gets an offload away to Walters. Chucks it to centre field. Fielded by Perham. Rides a tackle. Passes to the right for Ricky, and Ricky's put down around the ankles by Bloor and up top by Wishart. Broncos right edge, 35 out. Walters given blindside to Staggs at the end of the set. That was an interesting last play. Staggs puts up the shallow bomb. He catches his... no, he doesn't catch his own kick. He was close to it, but it didn't travel far. Anderson caught it. He's tackled, handover. Melbourne ball. 17 minutes and 58 seconds left. Storm 36, leading Brisbane 14. Repeating throughout the finals series, wherever you are, if you're going abroad or you're not going to be around your regular wireless, if that's how you listen to us, ABC Listen, look for the green button, and we will be everywhere it counts during the back end of this 2026 season on ABC Sport, as there's a lost ball here from Tyron Wishart on the Melbourne 20. He's protesting, but the referee says no.
Lost it cold.
Lost it.
I agree with Ref Raymond. He's made the correct call, Raymond, and now let's just see what the Bronx can throw at the Storm. For me, the game's out of their reach, 17 minutes to go, but let's see if they can concoct something that causes the defence a bit of a headache.
What'd you say, Bill?
Concocts.
Concoct.
To concoct something.
Yes, it's a word. It's like, what did I have on Sunday? We'll get back to that. Broncos shift it right. Mam gives it through the hands. One in from the edge. Mariner is tackled. Of course, had that terrible thigh gash earlier in the season. But great to see him back out there. As infield, the Broncos up to the 10 on a straightening carry there from Willison, and they get 6 more. Walters passes to the right. Ben Hunt gives it to Perham. Ball on to Ricky, who's dropped it. Watch out, Fa'alonga's picked it up on his goal line, then flirts with the touchline, gets tackled over the touchline. Now, I doubt he's taken the advantage there.
No way.
The referee will still give Melbourne the ball here. It was a knock-on from Jordan Ricky. Yeah, but it'll be a Melbourne scrum. feed.
Just on that, Q, we're talking about trialling rules. Wouldn't you like to see, after a ball's dropped like that, instead of the team being forced to either take the advantage or not take it, that they get given a free tackle, see where it ends up, and just let them go, and then it comes back for the original indiscretion?
Well, we're getting into murky waters there. You're discombobulating me, Zane. That was the word.
Sorry, I concocted a wrong theory.
Yes.
Your concoction's incorrect, my learned colleague.
And, I'll look that up. I thought I'd make... It's a real word, discombobulated.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It is. It is. So is Billy's word. I just didn't think he said it properly.
Okay, Blaw's got it. 10 in from touch on the left and 15 from halfway. Quarter of an hour of this jibber left. And Melbourne lead the game. 36 points to 14. Hughes to the right. Long goal. Beautifully taken by Mariner around the hips.
Brings out the mistake too.
He's knocked it on as well. Dean Mariner putting in there and forcing an error.
Yeah, lovely tackle by the left centre. Copybook. Mind you, he did put his head on the wrong side, but that's just maybe a little bit of a stickler in defence. But
Dano liked it because he was sort of aerial, Sewer. He was in the middle of one of those little leaps that he tries to use with the goose step.
He got rocked there, Q. That was a good tackle, and they all came over and patted Dean Mariner on the back. Maybe the Broncos can use this momentum.
36-14 Melbourne, quarter of an hour to play. Brisbane scrum feed. Centrefield and 30 from the Storm line. They opt to go right. Walters passes to Mam. Ezra Mam scored an intercept try earlier in the game, but tackled there. 25 out, 20 in from touch on the right. Pass one man infield to a straightening run from Ricky. Jordan Ricky for Brisbane, 16 metres from the Caxton Street in goal area. Bronx need to score next to make this game a contest as Tulfa takes it forward. Couple of post-contact metres for Ope Tulfa. He's pushed back eventually 11 metres from the goal line. Walters passes right for Ben Hunt, given on to Haas. Big pain in his last home game as a Bronco. Carries 3 men to within a metre of the goal line at the Caxton Street end. Played to Walters, given left for Carrigan through Ben Hunt. Second man play was read by Tuimolotu Brown. Get in the queue. He caught it 15 metres from his own line, and he'll sprint 85 to the Milton Road end. An intercept try for Siu Tuimolotu Brown, which will seal the win. And it's a lovely moment for this young man, galloping downfield at the Cauldron to make it 40-14, kick to come.
Tuimolotu Brown, we're going to see more of this kid, Q. I like what I see. And that's not luck. That's well read. Zano, beautiful read. He's come 2 players in as well. So he come well off his wing, but he could see what was unfolding. Probably predicted they might have been going to get stripped of numbers, so killed the play when he could. And it was a pass from the number 7, Ben Hunt. Reads it beautifully and wasn't challenged running down the park. So I suppose that evens up. Ezra Mam intercept, so well done the Storm, well done the young right winger.
He was out so quickly, I almost have to think that maybe Craig Bellamy picked that up in video review this week, because we saw Ben Hunt strip the Raiders a couple of times with those long passes down in the nation's capital, and I just wonder whether he might have tipped off Tuimolotu Brown and said, just be on the front foot rather than the back foot, and just wait for him to pass, and away you go. And certainly he did, Q.
Now, I wonder where his future lies with, obviously,
Rugby 7.
The Storm hoping that Xavier Coates comes back. Obviously, Will Warbrick's going to the Warriors and Jermaine Osarko's going to Melbourne. So there's 3 doesn't go into 2 for wingers. As Meany converts from straight in front, and it's 42-14.
He's a big body, so maybe centres.
Yeah, just wondering whether he can play in the centres.
Those 2 centres tonight won't be there next year.
22 years of age, his 12th game.
You've got Sherry coming down though.
So is he Rugby 7's background?
Yeah, he's come out of the rugby product. He's a rugby product from over New Zealand, and look, there's no doubt about it. He's been part of this Storm system, and they've been really impressed with what he's come up with. But you're right, it's going to be tough next year when you consider you've got Osako coming and Sherry to add to the likes of Coates, who's back. There is going to be competition for spots. that's for sure.
And the Broncos want the ball back. They've decided to ask the Storm to kick off, having conceded the point. So again, if you're late to the broadcast, that's a part of the experimental rule that the NRL is trialling tonight. So Brisbane's got it, even though they've just conceded the score. It's a long kick-off from Melbourne. They're not mucking around. They don't want to fancy kick-offs, short ones. Haas play 2 is crawling almost to the 20-metre line at the southern end. Moses in at distributor. Passes left for Ben Hunt. Runs at the line, second Mam to Ezra. Mam feeds it to the left edge for Mariner. His pass links up with Karapani. There's defence in front of him. Karapani runs infield. That is stopped 5 metres from halfway, 12 in from the western side. 11 minutes and 35 seconds to go. Melbourne lead 42-12. It's NRL Thursday on ABC Sport. As into the attacking half goes Willison on a one-out carry. Plays the ball. Now Carrigan, one out down the middle third. Stopped on 5. Brisbane 36 metres from the Melbourne line. Moser passes left. They run it on the last. Mam gives to Willison, the unlikely kicker of the grubber, but Fa'alongo is there to field it and does so successfully for Melbourne. He's tackled 9 metres from the line.
Can I just jump in and say that I'm sorry? I think I got confused with, of course, the other winger, Moses Leo.
Yeah, he was the sevens man that played in Tokyo.
Yes, but the Tuamulatu Brown's actually a product of the Victorian Rugby League system, and he's actually related to Marion Seve. So my apologies. He's part of the Victorian Pathways program.
That's great. It's great to see a player that ilk has come through that pathway and is bearing fruit. That's great for the Storm.
So they had Warbrick, the Tokyo Olympian, Leo, the Paris Olympian from Rugby Sevens, and now
Seve's out there, Q, because he's got the goggles on, and Sua Fa'alongo has just walked past me. Sorry, super coaches, that might have been looking for another 10 minutes of points, but he's going to have a rest.
Yeah, it was last year when Marion Seve had that really bad eye issue, and great that he's getting a run. First game of the season, tricep injury, bad tricep injury, the reason for the majority of his absence this year. Marion Seve.
So they have lost plenty of cattle this year, the Storm, which is probably one of the other reasons that it's been an unusual aberration to their very successful history.
Cooper Clark's got it. Melbourne with the ball. 10 and a half to go. Storm 30 from their own line as Jerome Hughes tries to put a torpy downfield. A decent spiral, but not great distance on the kick. Caught by Perham coming forward. The Broncos fullback on the 30. Got to the defence and popped the pass onto Karapani, and he crawls forward to halfway. He stopped there by the tackle of King. Mam's a distributor. One man infield to Perham. Broncos have taken up that option on the extra year of his contract. It'll be interesting to see where he goes in the lineup next year, with Reece Walsh obviously the preferred number 1.
I'd play him on the wing, Q.
As Carrigan stopped 33 metres out. Moser out of dummy half. Cooper Clark wasn't square at marker, so Moses draws the ping. Clark drawn into the tackle and gives away the 6 more. So Brisbane with a fresh set as Tulfa goes forward. Stopped 16 metres from the Storm line. Slightly right edge. Moser open and left past to Haas. Has Big Payne got a try on him in his last game as a Bronco at Lang Park? He's tackled there. Offload was too late. Referee says play it, Payne. 10 metres from the goal line. Moser passes right for Ben Hunt. Holds it and pops it up to Ricky. Jordan Ricky stopped by the Melbourne defence 7 metres out. Bronx looking for this try to the left. Ben Hunt. Big pass to Ezra Mam. Double cut out to the wing for Karapani. Great pass. And Karapani flies into the corner and dots down with his left hand. And Brisbane does get a try. No? What? Does the referee say it was a forward pass?
Yeah, that's what they're calling.
Oh no, Karapani put his foot on the touchline with no one around him. Gee, we give wingers a rap for how good they are with this craft. That is a howler from Karapani. There was no defender in all rights close enough to force that mistake. His launch foot was his left foot, and he touched the touchline before grounding the ball one-handed.
And there was nobody within probably 2 metres of him. Went over untouched. A magnificent triple cut out by Ben Hunt, and it wasn't able to be diffused.
Manu's just laid out a Bronco on a straightening run. He got absolutely steamrolled, Moser. Broncos are straight to his back. He wasn't knocked out, but there's immediate concern for him. He's up on his feet.
He's had his problems this year too. Yeah. He had that broken jaw and he's had HIA problems, so I don't think the Broncos will muck around here.
He'll be straight off. Just the way not only the collision with Udi Kamanu, but when he hits the ground as well, you'd have to go off for sure.
Unnamed text here. Absolutely pathetic from the Broncos. If you're not going to play for your coach, play for your fans. At least give them something. Any wonder they're quiet. Complete lack of respect shown to the supporter base. Thank you. Please send us your name if you're texting.
And he is going off cue. I think that text has hit on something. There has been some quiet murmurs around this sideline that if it was a bad result tonight, Michael Maguire might be in serious trouble.
Well, I think there is a reticence from the ownership and the board in that regard. They want stability in the coaching role.
Yeah, he's not going to give it to him, kid.
Well,
off the outside of the boot, it's going to spin towards the sideline.
Hughes decided to kick downfield from Melbourne off that scrum. Was hoping for maybe someone to chase it down, but the Broncos have got it. Pearham fields it. 10 in from touch on the left and 20 from the Broncos line. Brisbane, by the way, go to Canterbury Bankstown's home ground of Stadium Australia for their last game of the season. And if the Bulldogs are still in the fight, boy, that could be absolute fodder. Imagine if the Doggies beat Penrith tomorrow and the Cowboys win, and then the Doggies need to score and hope that there's some kind of miracle result. What is it? I think Cowboys have got Canberra last up, haven't they? Yeah.
The competition's closing, which is great to see. So big run here by Payne Haas. Offload.
Gets the offload. Man around his body, passes to Mariner, steps in field, slips over on the logo, gets up, keeps going, and he's 5 metres into attacking territory before Blore tackles him. Last play, Brisbane, no one's on the mark, so Billy Walters goes on a little chip and chase play. He got sort of buffeted out a bit, refs said it's okay. Then Walters makes a one-on-one strip on Meaney. Ball spills out, Broncos have got it, and luckily for Melbourne, Leo is there to make the tackle on Talfa, but Brisbane on the attack, 15 out, swung to the left for Mam, given on to Willison. Willison's tackled 2 metres out, 7 minutes to go. Where's Payne Haas? Give it to Payne in his last game as a Bronco at Lang Park to see if he can get a try. Yeah, he's got it now. He's running laterally, Haas. He gets to the edge, one-handed offload to Staggs, given on to Ricky. Ricky on the right edge is dragged down by the tackle of Leo. Broncos 2 metres out. Anderson throws it back infield to Staggs. Dummy's infield, goes back to the blind, but Grant was there to make the tackle with others. And the Bronx play it, 8 in from the right and 5 from the Melbourne line. Anderson passes infield. Pearham gives it through the hands to Hunt. Ball was knocked on there by Keeley. He's knocked it straight into the hands of Mam. Mam picks up the loose footy, runs into the in goal and scores. Ezra's got 2. And it's Melbourne 42, Broncos 18. Kick to come, 6 minutes to play.
Inconsequential, this try in the overall outcome of the match, but good to watch. The ball's flying around the park. Payne Haas, great carry. Went across middle a little bit and was looking for an opening. Couldn't find one. Lovely offload. That sort of disrupted the back line defensively of the Storm. They've come back from right to left and conversion taken, but we saw a bit of a lucky bounce. And it's to come off a Storm player back into the hands of Ezra Mam. Johnny on the spot to score his double of the night. And the Broncos, well, the deficit's still big, but a little bit less after that 6-pointer.
42 to 20, Pearham kicks the conversion, 5.5 to go, and Melbourne want the ball back.
Yeah, Melbourne's going to get the ball back, Brisbane's going to kick it. Blake Moses' season is done to Cat 1, HIA. He won't be back for the game against the Bulldogs next week. And you just wonder, can the Broncos get a couple more points here to just reduce this margin? I tell you what, it is starting to become a bit of touch football out there. Both sides finding big gaps in both sides' defensive line.
Mark from the ACT text, how did the Raiders manage to lose to this mob last week, especially in Papa's last home game? So embarrassing. A kick-off, went 12 metres, knocked on by Tui Maladu-Brown of Melbourne, picked up by Pearham. Brisbane has the ball back from the kick-off. Pearham passes to midfield, Ben Hunt, throwing dummies left, right and centre. Little bust up to the 30, passes to the left wing for Karapani. He charges to the line and then has to stop with the defence shifting from Melbourne, getting to him 10 metres out. Karapani's tackled, plays it to Ben Hunt, passes infield to Ezra on a straightener. Oh, beautiful flip out the back to Tulfa, tackled 5 metres out. I'll say it again. Where's Payne? Give it to Haas to see if he can get a try in his farewell here. To the left, no. Man passes off. It's along the ground and through the legs of Karapani and over the touchline.
He was looking for I think Dean Mariner couldn't find him. Karapani got the ball coming in on the bounce and wasn't able to stop it. But as Zano said, a little bit of touch footy, but Jesus, exciting. Ben Hunt does what he does well. Carved up the defensive line. A beautiful pass across to Karapani, but unfortunately from there the play went a wash and no more points for the Bronx in that set of 6.
Doing Ricky's a HIA Cat 2 as well, guys.
4 minutes and 21 seconds left in this one. This will, by the way, end a run of 3 straight wins for Brisbane against Melbourne, and that's saying something because the Storm basically owned them for about 8 years.
Look at the numbers.
Until a couple of seasons ago.
61 played, 43 wins by the Storm, 17 Broncos, 1 draw. That's a humongous tally going the Storm's way.
You know what? Prior to that previous 3 wins in a row, they'd won 17 of the previous 18, and the Storm have the best winning record of any team at this ground, 71% win rate.
Storm have lost the ball on their own 30, so Brisbane's got another chance here. 3 minutes and 40 to play. Willison tackled on the 30, given to Tulfa up to the 20. He lost the ball clean that time. It's picked up by Melbourne.
The game's degraded here, but you can see this is where the Storm in 2026, they would not normally take the foot off the throat. And they don't have the ability now to finish off a very weakened Broncos team.
I will say, of the 60 games played for only 17 wins for Brisbane, 2 of those wins have been grand finals. Significant, the 2 of the 17.
Good point, Q.
Well, we find a few here and then. 3 minutes to go. Melbourne's got it, 43 metres out. Grant to the left for Munster. Given to Blore. Sean Blore, who'll be a Bronco the next time he plays here. Plays it there 30 metres out. Now Grant running laterally. Now gives it to the right for Hughes. Holds it, gives it on to Keeley. Keeley tackled by Mariner. 15 metres from the Broncos line. 15 in from touch on the right. Storm looking for some more late joy here. Hughes gives Hinchy the ball on a straightening run. He loses it though, Angus Hinchy. And Hughes is thinking, can I pick this up? Yeah, I can.
In the last 5 minutes, I reckon there's been 5 drop balls. It's just, you can see why they are where they are on the table.
It's bruise-free football at the back end of this game.
Yeah, it just lacks class. It lacks intensity, consistency, and that's what these 2 sides personified, especially the Storm last year. This wouldn't have happened last year.
The one thing though, I reckon the Storm, that just the way the organisation holds itself, they'll be up to knock off the Sharks next week at Shark Park. I reckon there'll be a few Cronulla fans very wary, not of the season record, but just the reputation of the Storm. They've got to play at home. They'll probably have to win that game, the Sharks, to
potentially go into the 4. You're right.
Top 4.
Yeah, huge.
Or maybe even to earn position 5 or 6. I think they're pretty safe to at least get 1 home game, aren't they? But anyway, Willison's tackled a 10 from halfway, 90 seconds to go in this one. Carrigan gives the pass to Ben Hunt. Grubbers down the right-hand side. Moses Leo will be first to meet it for the Storm. He's jumped on by Anderson and he's tackled. G'day to Brant from Port Douglas who texts, "Hi Q and the crew. I've not long tuned in after going shopping. Is it my imagination or does the stadium announcer have his volume knob turned up to 11? Very loud." Well, it's always loud, but they haven't adjusted it in contrast to the noise of the stands, and it's been quiet here tonight.
Yeah, that's the quietest we've heard in the crowd, but you're not the first texter to say that it's loud.
It is extraordinary, Zano, to think we left this ground after the preliminary final last year, So Brisbane's last club game of last year was the loudest I'd ever heard it here. Tonight is the quietest I've ever heard it.
Absolutely, yeah. The juxtaposition of the 12 months queue as we see another knock on here. No, he's ruled to go back and play it, Josh King. One thing I can say is all the club sides have complained about the poor, the fact that this ground announce is so loud, they reckon the decibels is far above what's supposed to be allowed in the NRL.
Now, Hinchy's got the ball. We're inside the last 30 seconds. Melbourne with possession. They're going to win. What's the scoreline, though? It's 42-20 as it stands. Hughes running to the right. Tries a little chip to the wing of Tui Malatu. Brown, who leaps and catches. And the young man scores a Lang Park hat-trick. That's a great way for Melbourne to finish the game, to rub further salt into the Broncos' wounds. It'll be the last play of the game, bar the conversion attempt. And Anis Horribilis off the back of the glorious premiership drought. It's the last Lang Park game for the Broncos in 2026. The last as reigning premier for the time being. And they have been shocking in their premiership defence. And quite fittingly, their last home game is going to peter out as a whimper among their big crowd base here, and with Melbourne going within a point or two of racking up 50.
Got to give Tui Malatu Brown a hat-trick, you're right. That one there, a lovely little kick by Jerome Hughes. Welcome back for him. But the winger, Tui Malatu Brown, has positioned himself. He's run around on the blind side of Karapani. Karapani doesn't even know he's there, didn't hear him, and when he realises it's all too late. Well done, the Storm right winger. We're going to see plenty more of this kid.
Meany 7 from 7. This is a tester to keep his perfect record intact. Only 5 metres in from the touchline. He's left it out to the right, so his first miss of the night is the last kick of the game, and Melbourne has won comfortably. The Storm 46, the Broncos 18. And one of the most inglorious seasons in Brisbane history comes off the back of one of their greatest triumphs only 12 months earlier. An extraordinary fall from grace from the huge NRL behemoth that is the mob at Red Hill. They've got one game to go. They'll be playing Canterbury Bankstown at Stadium Australia, and 46 points to 20, in fact, that final score. Not 46 to 18, 46 to 20. The final score, with Tui Malatu Brown scoring 3 tries. Wishart scored 2 tries. Udawikamanu, Nini and Fa'alongo also scored for Brisbane. Mam scored twice. Ben Hunt and Katoni Stagg scored, and Perham kicked 2 from 4. Melbourne 30-10 at half-time, and it ends Storm 46, Broncos 20. Stay close. More of your thoughts welcome. What did you reckon about the new kickoff rule? 0467 920 222. Or a thought or two on the game. We'll get Zane's interviews as well as Billy's votes.
Well, that scoreline reflected the actual contest queue. They just totally decimated the first 10 minutes. There was an arm wrestle, close, but that was about it. They were outplayed by a Storm side, which isn't like the Storm of old, but they certainly had a heartbeat there. And when you look at their spine, Grant, Hughes, Munster, and Fa'alongo, they've got some good players.
Same.
Yeah, I'm down here with Payne Haas. Payne, 158 games for the club. Your last one wearing that jersey here at Lang Park. What's your thoughts about the performance and where you guys find yourself this year?
Yeah, it wasn't ideal tonight, mate. Obviously, last home game here, wanted to finish off with a bang, but it is what it is, bro. Just trying to enjoy the next, last game next week, but poor performance from us, and it wasn't ideal.
What do you make of the week with your skipper, Adam Reynolds? There's been a lot of talk about, the fact that he wasn't able to play tonight. Were you disappointed he wasn't out there?
I'm not sure what happened there, mate. That's between them and Ren. I'm sure they made the right decision. I know the coaching staff, medical staff, Ren, they would have came to a conclusion, and it is what it is. That's the decision what's been made, and can't say nothing more than that.
What about your time in the Broncos? Broncos. I'm sure last year's premiership's going to be something that you're going to reflect on when you play the Bulldogs next week. But what's it been like this week preparing for this game?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. It's just another game, to be honest. But obviously, it's a very special ground. Something I'm going to miss playing every week in front of 40-odd thousand, regardless of where we are on the ladder. But me and my family are truly grateful for Brisbane. They've opened their arms for us and welcomed us and loved us from the start. So, I'm going to miss this place. I'm going to miss playing here.
Just finally, we were hoping to see you play for Samoa. Is that off now with that hammed injury? You won't be playing and you won't be here at this ground for the World Cup?
I'm not sure yet, mate. I've got to go through the medical stuff and see what happens. But, yeah, most likely.
All right, well, best of luck next week in your last game of Broncos colours. Thanks for all the memories, mate. You've been a sensation.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Zane always gets his man. Great job to hear from Payne Haas. I remember sort of a line which was taken a bit out of context. He was in line to becoming the greatest ever Bronco, and I don't mean that when you compare him to the individual careers, but as far as club championships, he's won more than Langer, more than Lockyer, more than anyone. Like, mind you, perhaps the quality of the team around him, not the same as those glory eras, but you look at that honour board, 6 Paul Morgan medals for Payne Haas, and Alan Langer's the next best with 5. So he will leave this club in the upper echelon of its greatest ever players. Zane.
I'm down here with a man who just kept knocking him over. He missed his last one, but I think he got 7 out of 8, and he also managed to score a try as well. 18 points, Nick Meaney, not a bad effort for the Storm tonight.
Yeah, I think Craig will be happy with that one. Obviously the year hasn't gone the way we wanted it, but we wanted to finish on a high note. They had a few things to celebrate tonight, so we just wanted to put a damper on it, and I thought the boys did really well.
How hard was it preparing for a grand final rematch when you're in 11th and they're in 15th? The crowd seemed really quiet at the start. Did you notice that?
Yeah, probably a little bit, but we just spoke about during the week, obviously what you said, the grand final rematch, and they got it over us, I think, early in the year at our home ground, so we wanted to get them back, and it was a full team effort tonight. I thought everyone played really well.
Absolutely outstanding they did. Now, I want to ask about the tactics. We wondered, were we ever going to see the kick-off rule enacted, and then you guys ended up choosing to take it. What was the thinking behind, when you had, I think, a 20-point margin trying to get the ball back?
Yeah, I think it's just probably easier with the ball. You probably save a bit of energy when you're running it instead of tackling them, so I don't really know what the conversations are. Leave that up to the leaders and the coach, but something different tonight definitely can hurt when you're fatigued, so they might keep it, they might not, I'm not sure.
What would you like to see happen? I saw Adam Fanua-Blake say he doesn't like it. He thinks that, there's too much rule change. What's your personal opinion? Have the players talked about it much?
Yeah, a fair bit. Personally, as a player, the game's getting so fast and we're just seeing so many injuries and so much fatigue in the game, and when they're changing little things like that, it's just going to add to it. So, personally, I like to just see them, keep the game as it is and build it from that and not change too much, but obviously I'm not making the big calls and I'll leave that up to them.
Well, you're going to feel that perhaps they fatigue a little bit more because you're going to be doing a lot of travelling next year as part of being the Perth Bears, which our co-commentator Billy Moore is very excited about. He can't wait to see you in a Bears jersey. Have you thought about, how hard it's going to be to treat, soft tissue injuries and have travel and all that sort of stuff next year?
Yeah, it will be tough. Obviously the AFL do it, and so might have to hit them up and see how they manage it, but we just got to take it as it is. The team's got to travel over us still, so I think it's further. Getting over there, it takes longer, but I think the medical staff and the training staff will do a good job at managing it, and see how we go.
Just finally, Nick, next week you take on the Sharks. There's no love lost between the Melbourne Storm and the Sharks, so is that a game you want to win?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're a top 4 team at the moment, so grand final rematch this week and versus top 4 next week. That's what's going to get us up, and hopefully put in a good performance like tonight.
We had you and Wishart as the centre combination tonight. Is there any chance of that for the Bears next year?
To be honest, I don't think so. I think Wish is more of a 9, but we'll just see how we go next year.
All right, thanks, Nick. Really appreciate it. Best of luck next week.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Good on you, Zano. Nick Meaney down with Zane Bojack. 7 from 8 off the kicking tee tonight. Melbourne 46, Brisbane 20. And as they do for the last home game, they sort of erect a fence around halfway on the western side of the ground. The players sort of get inside that fence and the fans can get on the ground to do selfies and signing a footy. Feels a bit flat about it though, because there were a lot of fans that had left early. 36,476 in the house. Melbourne to play Cronulla next week, as Zane was just alluding to there. Brisbane to play Canterbury Bankstown. So the Broncos still need one win to improve on, and this is the asterisk statistic. So in a full season in their existence, the Broncos' worst number of wins is 7. When they collected the wooden spoon in the COVID-shortened season, there was only 20 games and they only won 3. But you know what I'm saying here? When you get the full 24 games, Brisbane has never had less than 7 wins. So extraordinary to think that in 2020, when they were wooden spooners, the next year in 2021, they won 7 games. So off a wooden spoon year, they won 7 games. They're off a premiership year.
Yes.
And they're stuck on 7 with 1 to come. And they don't look like winning.
They're startling that numbers, the way you describe it as well. Next week they're going to play the Dogs.
Yeah, who might be...
It won't get any easier.
Well,
because the Dogs will need that if they're going to play finals.
There is the potential if Penrith win tomorrow and North Queensland and Souths win over the weekend.
It's a dead rubber.
Cowboys have got the Tigers, Souths have got Titans. Then it will be mathematically impossible for the Bulldogs to get in. That might be the only saving grace for the Broncos. Or maybe all 3 teams win and the Dogs need wins plus points differential. Who knows? That being said, Brisbane's had this terrible losing streak at home as well. What an implosion! I mean, they've got one game to go. It is extraordinary. They look like rugby league's version of the Masters of the Universe, led by the dynamic fullback late last year, and obviously he wasn't there tonight, Reece Walsh. No, Michael Maguire, year 1, the Messiah who broke the premiership drought. But now it's just in absolute tatters at Red Hill.
Well, to the spoils go the victors, to the losers go the pain, and the meetings and the inquisition. And there is a review happening at the end of the year, which who knows where that's going to head for the club. Obviously, if Maguire doesn't survive that, there's got to be a replacement, and there's not an abundance of coaches. So I'm not saying you don't change because there's nothing else left. But let's see how that works out. If they don't beat the Dogs, I feel that the momentum is so stalled and the stench of what's happened will be so bad. It will be hard to start 2027 with Maguire. I think if he loses next week, I don't think he'll survive.
Why should next week matter?
Well, it'll only matter because it just rams home that there looks to be no dawn. And I can't see a pathway where this team looks better in 27 than it does now.
At the same time, we don't want to turn rugby league into the English Premier League and managers and coaches getting sacked.
What do you trade in rugby league? Like in EPL, what do you trade in?
Yeah, you trade in victories. So
if that's the currency, then that's what must circulate. And if you don't circulate it, then you put yourself in harm's way and harm will find you. So that's exactly what's happened here. Harm will find Michael Maguire, as good as he's been with 2 premierships, what he's done at Origin, what he's done for New Zealand. Accolade. Great. But you've got to win.
Here's the context. They've gone from, and I used the Premier League and it just jumped in my head, but I'll chuck it at you to give a reflection. They've gone from winning the Premier League to being relegated in 12 months.
And that happened, what was the team a couple of years ago that came from Jamie Vardy played?
Coventry.
Leicester. Came from nothing. One of the greatest stories of all time, 5,000 to 1. They did that, but Leicester came from nowhere. This is the Brisbane Broncos.
Yeah.
The biggest club in the comp.
By the way,
here they come.
Talk about the charge at the Light Brigade. The kids wanted to hang around and run onto the field and get to the fence here on the western side. And the fans will see if they can get a selfie down there. Good that the players could stick around. 46-20, Melbourne over Brisbane. And let's get you 3, 2 and 1, please, Billy.
Yeah, I gave 3 points to the custodian from the Storm. Fa'alongo, he was outstanding.
He's no Slater, he's no Pappenhausen, but he goes all
Still goes well.
And he's only 23. And he's yet to reach 50 games.
I just think another couple of kilos on him, he will just become better for it, a bit more experience. He's got a great spine around him when you think, he's receiving the ball off Grant through Hughes on the Munster. When he gets, he does something with it. So he had a try, 2 try assists, 120 odd metres. He was great. Stefiano Udikamanu, I gave him 2 points in a hotly contested middle battle. He was certainly not outclassed up against the great Payne Haas. And I gave 1 to Billy Walters.
He was excellent.
I thought he was outstanding. And look, I think he's 32 himself. But he's one of those, he's a young 32.
Well, in footy terms, he's 115 games into his NRL career.
Yeah.
Played a lot of cup footy as well.
I just thought he was dangerous, and he was at every time causing havoc around the ruck. Some good D. When he's playing, he certainly does improve the Broncos.
3 to Saw Fa'alongo, 2 to Stefano Udowikamanu, and 1 to Billy Walters. The votes from Billy Moore as the Storm beat the Broncos 46 points to 20. Let's throw to the highlights in about 90 seconds, which gives enough time for Billy to just quickly preview tomorrow's games. The Manly Seagulls host the St George Illawarra Dragons at Brookvale.
Well, this is a game where Brookvale has not been a fortress. So let's see if it should be. But that's the team, the Dragons. If I put money on right now, the Dragons will be the big improvers in 27.
Okay. So you're tipping the Dragons tomorrow?
No.
You just wanted any way not to actually say out loud as a North Sydney person, yes. I'm tipping Manly.
Thank you.
North Sydney
you said it.
Is tipping Manly. Okay, Penrith, are you a believer that they're just warming for the finals, or you look at the form and think, hold on, they're not going as well this time as they were 12 months ago? Big game against the Dogs.
They're not going as well. You can't make wine out of water, even as great as they are, the mercurial touch that they have at that club. Look, they're going to be thereabouts, but if they don't have the personnel, the elite personnel, mainly Yo, if he doesn't play at the back end, and so is he ruled out?
They're trying to get him back.
No one's giving me a concrete decision.
No, because we don't know. They're trying to get him back. Dogs beat him earlier in the year. Who are you tipping?
The Panthers.
Tipping the Panthers. Thanks, Bill. Thanks to Zano down on the touch line, to Branko on the faders here, and Ned back in the studio. Thank you for your company throughout the evening. Of course, it all starts again 5:30 tomorrow with the pre-game show before the Friday doubleheader. Thanks for your company.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Hughes to Fa'alongo, feeds the inside line of Meany, who goes through flimsy defence of Mam and Haas, and Nick Meany scores for Melbourne on a simple inside line, and a hole which had all rights to be a bit tighter. Storm the play at 15 from the goal line. Grant passes right, the arrow puts it under his right wing, weaves to his left, then links up with Munster. Munster's ball to Wishart. Tyron Wishart goes in to score Melbourne's third try. Hinchy's out there, Angus Hinchy for Melbourne. Tackle 5 out now. Hughes, quick hands to the right. Meany gives it to the edge for Tuimolatu Brown. He beats one and carries the tackle of a second into the in goal to score. And there's a bit of a dust-up going on after that try. Munster's got the ball. Tackle, throws an offload which is loose, juggled by Ezra Mam. He catches it. He's got 70 to sprint, puts on the afterburners to get past the valiant Jason McDonald. And against the run of play, Ezra Mam scores an intercept try for Brisbane. Harry Grant decides a little kick for Fa'alongo. In behind the line, has the bounce. Perham overran it. Fa'alongo picks it up, gives it to Wishart, who scores under the post. Oh, that was fancy. Comes down 12 from the goal line. Anderson taps it backwards legally to Staggs. Staggs has tackled. He kicks it cross field. Ezra Mam's got it, who kicks it back to the right wing. Ben Hunt's going to catch it. Munster's there, tries to stop him, but can't stop him from grounding the ball. Now Harry Grant passes left and centre field to Hughes, to Munster, the old firm combine. Oh, brother for Sewer. Fa'alongo is on the end of that. Grabs and dots down before the dead ball line. Ben Hunt, second man play was read by Tuimolatu Brown. Get in the queue. He caught it 15 metres from his own line, and he'll sprint 85 to the Milton Road end. An intercept try for Tuimolatu Brown, which will seal the win. Anderson passes infield. Perham gives it through the hands to Hunt. Cutout ball was knocked on there by Keeley. He's knocked it straight into the hands of Mann. Mann picks up the loose footy, runs into the in goal and scores. Hughes running to the right. Tries a little chip to the wing of Tui Malatu. Brown who leaps and catches. And the young man scores a Lang Park hat-trick. That's a great way for Melbourne to finish the game, to rub further salt into the Broncos' wounds. And Anis Horribilis off the back of the glorious premiership drought. It's the last Lang Park game for the Broncos in 2026. The last as reigning premier for the time being.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
ABC News with Andrew Kalupas. Nepali authorities say more than 350 people are now known to have died following devastating flooding that swept through the country's mountainous border region with Tibet. Nepal says of the more than 900 people missing on its side of the border, at least 35 of them are Australian. Tibetan authorities say more than 550 people are missing and 3 others have died. The disaster unfolded after a Himalayan glacier collapsed. The Deputy Director of Tribhuvan Hospital in Kathmandu, Gopal Sidane, says his hospital is yet to receive a large number of patients.
The situation problem is because the road connectivity is lost, we are getting all the patients by heli rescue. If there was road connection, we would be expecting more and more patients.
Personnel from the Australian Defence Force could be deployed to disaster-hit Nepal to assist with the recovery effort, while the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade is preparing to send an emergency relief team. Assistant Foreign Minister Matt Thistlethwaite says Australia's